us.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Doing great.
We want to cancel? $180? You guys are bloodsuckers. No, not in a good way.
Termination fees are evil. Spectrum doesn't have them. AT&T bad. Spectrum good.
Tires have a new home. Midas now sells great brands at great prices. Get $100 off instantly on select Goodyear and Cooper tires through July 31st. Find your tires online. Trust the Midas touch.
Welcome back. The Herd is coming up next year on FS1, so let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what is cooking today, my man?
Well, people talk about impact and Gordon Hayward, but I'll tell you real impact, global impact. What has happened over the last 48 to 72 hours, and it's not about Gordon Hayward. That's coming up.
All right, Colin, looking forward to it. Now time for our final topic of the day. Quickly here, ESPN reported yesterday that Jamal Crawford was part of a 3-team deal that will send him to the Hawks. Reports also say Crawford wants to be bought out by Atlanta and would prefer to play for the Lakers and with Lonzo Ball. So, Skip, are you surprised by that?
It really raised my eyebrows that a highly respected 37-year-old off-the-bench clutch scorer wants to play alongside this kid. Wow.
Right.
And I get it because I'm going to tell you what I've told you all along. I think he's special. I think he's once a generation as a passer. And I would love to see Jamal pull this off. I don't think he'll be able to make it happen. But if he did, it would be really fun to watch. And I think he would have a lot of fun alongside Lonzo.
I am surprised, Skip, because normally what happens, you see rookies want to play alongside veteran players and not vice versa. But it just goes to show you what vet players in this league think about Lonzo Ball. They believe he can be special. He is a facilitator. He is a let me get you involved first guy. And that's what guys like. Guys like Lonzo because they're unselfish. It's not about their scoring. It's about them getting the players involved that can do that job. And so that says a lot. I agree with you, Skip. I don't know how he pulls this off. He has $14 million guaranteed this year and $3 million next year. I don't know if the Hawks are just going to hand over $17 million and say, see you later.
But if he did pull it off, Lakers playoffs.
You think no, that's good. That's wishful thinking.
Guys, great work today. Thanks for having me.
You.
That's it for us. Joy is back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Right now, let's send it over to Colin Cowherd. Colin?
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Hope you had a great 4th of July. Many of you are off this week. I noticed driving in today, the freeways not nearly as jammed, at least in Los Angeles. Hope you are happy and safe and full after 4th of July barbecues. I want to start with this. Impact. Value. Kind of nebulous words. What do they mean? That guy's got leverage. That guy's got value. I'm going to tell you about value. And everybody's talking about Gordon Hayward today going to the Celtics, and I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But here is leverage, and here is value in the National Basketball Association. Steph Curry. I don't want you to look at the Gordon Hayward contract today. I want you to look at a handful of other contracts in the NBA today. Joe Ingles just signed a $52 million deal for Utah. Kyle Korver just signed a $21 million deal for the Cavs. Otto Porter just signed a deal for over $100 million, and J.J. Redick will make $23 million a year for the Philadelphia 76ers. And last year, Alan Crabb, a guy off the bench, signed a monster contract for Portland. Why did they sign those contracts? Steph Curry. It used to be biggest, strongest, what's your vertical? They got the big money in the NBA. Otto Porter averages 13 points a game. But Otto Porter, in the last year of his deal, started hitting three-pointers. If Otto Porter would have averaged 16 a game but couldn't shoot threes, he wouldn't get this contract. But Otto Porter makes 13 a game and has suddenly become a three-point shooter. That is impact. That's the impact of Steph Curry. As I've said, he's not as good as LeBron James, but LeBron and Steph Curry have far more global impact and far more domestic impact than Kevin Durant, who some think is better than both and is definitely probably better than one, and that wouldn't be LeBron. Is that Steph Curry has changed this league. Guys who are fifth best starter on a team that may win in one playoff series are signing monster contracts because they can suddenly hit three-point shots. By the way, we've had the three-point shot in the NBA for over 2 decades. It's been around forever. But a little guy from Davidson proved that you don't have to have a 44-inch vertical, don't have to be big, strong. He broke in the league. He had really weak ankles. But you changed the face of the league. Steph Curry did that. LeBron's the best player. Steph Curry did that. And it reminds me, sports and television tend to be copycat businesses. And it reminds me about all these celebrity reality families. You do realize the Kardashians weren't the first. It was Ozzy Osbourne's wacky family. And then from Ozzy Osbourne's wacky family, you got Gene Simmons' wacky family and Duck Dynasty and the Kardashians and Housewives of Blank City and Honey Boo Boo City and Bret Michaels' family. And they all owe a debt of gratitude to Ozzy Osbourne's crazy family. And Joe Ingles and Alan Crabb and Otto Porter and J.J. Redick and Kyle Korver, nice players, send a Christmas card to Steph Curry. I mean, it is unbelievable. I don't have a problem paying stars. But Otto Porter was a bust 2 years into his deal. 2 years into his deal, he was a bust from Georgetown. Now he's averaging 13 a game and is going to sign a contract that 3 years ago would have made him the highest paid guy in the sport. You're welcome, Steph Curry. And let me add this. When Steph Curry went to the Warriors, when the owner of the Warriors bought this team 7 years ago, he bought them for $450 million. The Warriors are now worth $2.6 billion. 6.5 times the value. That ain't about Durant. That ain't about Draymond. That ain't about Kerr. That's not about Clay. That's about Steph Curry. That is impact. Well, I want to talk about the Gordon Hayward move. Gordon Hayward, Utah, Miami, Boston. We said it the last week. Our feeling was it was probably a 60% lean for Boston. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The way 2 days ago I was talking to an NBA executive, and I was talking about that deal. Jimmy Butler goes to the T-Wolves, and the Bulls got Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn and a pick swap. And he said, I know you guys in the media are crushing that move. But he said, a lot of the times the way general managers look at moves, at least to some degree, they all look at it this way, is points lost, points gained. He said Zach LaVine is 19 points a game. Chris Dunn averaged 4 and rarely played. He'll double that minimum to 8 to 10. He goes, that's 29 points. Jimmy Butler averages 24. Plus, you got a better draft pick. He says, you guys look at it as Jimmy Butler's this. He's a star. But the Chicago Bulls said, if Chris Dunn can average 10 a game, and he rarely played last year, it's reasonable to assume, I would bet money he would average 10 a game, Zach LaVine 18 to 19, on points lost, points gained, you're okay. It ain't the best move, but it's not the disaster the media paints it out to be. It's all about production. Who ends up with 108 points at the end of a game? And here's the thing with Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward gives you 22 a night. But now the Celtics, Kelly Olynyk is a free agent now. Now, he only gives you 9 a game. But in order to make the contract work here, they'll probably have to get rid of Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart, or Avery Bradley. And I don't think a lot of teams want Marcus Smart. So if you lose Olenek at 9 a game and Avery Bradley at 16, that's 25 points. Gordon Hayward averages 22. Jay Crowder goes with Olenek. He averages 14. That's 23 points. Gordon Hayward gives you 22. And Boston doesn't have a lot of size to begin with. And Jay Crowder plays big, and Kelly Olynyk at 6'11" is big. That's why I believe Porzingis for the New York Knicks to Boston still has to be part of Danny Ainge's plan. Because Gordon Hayward's coming on, but now you're going to clear some room, and if you just go points for points, you don't gain much. And Gordon Hayward is Jude Law. He's not Denzel. He's not Tom Hanks. He's Jude Law. He's good. He's talented. He's something. But not a lot of people burning jerseys over Gordon Hayward and Jude Law. You remember what Chris Rock said a few years ago at the Oscars when he was hosting about Jude Law? You remember this.
You want Tom Cruise and all you can get is Jude Law? Wait. It's not the same thing, okay? Who is Jude Law? Why is he in every movie I have seen the last 4 years? He's gay, he's straight, he's American, he's British. Next year he's playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the movie.
So the point being is, people burn jerseys for LeBron. They burn jerseys for KD. They change the landscape. Unfair, no parity. This is outrageous. You know what we're all saying today about Gordon Hayward? Good for Gordon Hayward. He's a good guy. He'll get 22 a night, and they'll win some games in Boston. People get angry at what they fear. Nobody in Cleveland today fears anything. Nobody in Golden State fears anything. Nobody in Houston fears anything. I know that Gordon Hayward's a good player and not a superstar because I'm watching you react. And outside of maybe one kook in Utah who almost feels like he has to burn a jersey because, like everybody else did, there's no anger today. There's no resentment. Nobody complaining about contracts, lack of parity. In the end, when these teams make moves, points out, points in. I look at Boston today. I think they're better, but they're going to have to lose pieces. I absolutely believe you got to get the Knicks back on the phone and go after Porzingis. Boston's not beating Cleveland next year. And if LeBron stays, they're not beating him the year after that. And some of those bad Cleveland contracts you'll be able to get rid of in a year and 2 years. So I like this, and I'm happy for Gordon Hayward, and he's a nice player, and he's a good kid. But in the end, we're not burning jerseys today. And there's a reason we're not burning them. Coming up next, an NFL player complains about these NBA deals. And I have definitely heard fans saying, what the heck's going on with these NBA deals? Got some thoughts on that around the corner. Got to tell you now, summertime. Spend a little more time at the beach. Beach wears me out. Spent 4 hours there yesterday. Play a little volleyball, a little boogie board, sit in the sun, maybe knock down a brew. Get home at 4:35. You are shot. I need a good night's sleep. That's where Casper comes in. No brainer. Cool and comfortable. 2 high-tech foams. Guarantee a better night's sleep than the overpriced mattress. And they allow you to use it for 100 nights. And if you don't like it, they not only ship it for free, they come, take it, give it to a charity, and ship it away for free. Fast Company called it one of the 50 most innovative brands of 2017. Go to Casper.com and use the code HERD. Casper.com code HERD. Terms and conditions do apply, but the code gets you $50 toward the purchase of your mattress. Risk-free, shipping-free, Casper.com code HERD.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis like me, and you're talking to your rheumatologist about a medication, this is Humira. This is Humira helping to relieve my pain and protect my joints from further damage. Humira has been clinically studied for over 18 years. Humira works by targeting and helping to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms. It's proven to help relieve pain and stop further joint damage in many adults.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB. Hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Talk to your doctor and visit Humira.com. This is Humira at work.
If you're going to chase your dreams, remember, they're faster than you think.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I used to ask if you could hear me now with Verizon, but I switched to Sprint.
Hey, are you happy that you switched?
Yes, their network reliability is within 1% of Verizon, and their unlimited plan is half what you pay with Verizon for a family of 4. That's right, it's half. You could save over $1,000 in the first year.
You've been ripping us off.
Just think what you could do with that money.
I'd buy a new set of golf clubs.
Vacation.
Unlimited, $22.50 per month per line. That's 50% off Verizon Unlimited rates. Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much.
Make the most of your summer with Sam Adams Summer Ale. Enjoy every hour of sun and everything that comes after it. Sam Adams Summer Ale. 3 new colors, same great taste.
The world is dying. You are his last hope.
If we waited for the perfect moment to revolt, it would never happen.
I call this a win.
Every team trains hard. Every team prepares to win. But when U.S. Army soldiers take the field, it's best if the other guys don't bother showing up. See if you have what it takes at GoArm.com/team.
How do you want to live? As a decent person? Good husband? Is that it? Good? Of course not. King of the hill? Better. Top of your game? Win. All powerful. Like a boss. Like a pro. We couldn't agree more. We are professional grade. Step up to GMC with 17% below MSRP on specially equipped 2017 Sierra SLT models. That's nearly $11,000 on this Sierra. It ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
5 calories, no artificial sweeteners, and tastes amazing. Bye. It's Domino's. I have to go.
Looking for this?
Yeah.
Order and track your pizza with Domino's Tracker.
I love you, a bush and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do.
While other insurance companies just see a house, we see the home you've worked really hard for.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
You want to see the world in one night? Come with me. For the first time ever, the best wildlife cinematographers take us around the globe and face-to-face with life in the animal kingdom. State-of-the-art cameras turning night into day, live. Spoiler alert, you don't know what's going to happen.
Earth Live, a global event, Sunday at 8 Eastern on National Geographic.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
Welcome back, and it's great to have you here with TrueCar. You can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for. On average, save $3,000 off MSRP. New or used car, doesn't matter. Good to have you in. It's the Herd today. Veteran newsman John Goulet is in for Christine Leahy, who I think is on that Ninja Warrior show again. My partner, she never takes a day off. She works every day of the year. Of July 4th special last night, which I, again, was at the beach, came home, was tired, did not watch. I feel incredibly guilty. So I'll get knocked over the head for that when she returns. So yesterday, when you get these big NBA contracts, and last year at the same time, NFL players were watching these NBA contracts. And NFL players last year at this time were like, man, these guys are making incredible money. What about us? And if you do look at the leaderboard of players with an annual salary of $25 million, NBA's got 21, baseball has 11, NFL's got 1, and NHL has none. First of all, it's like a hospital. You know, just because you work at a hospital, you may be more important than everybody. You may be a pediatrician, and you're welcoming people into this world. You could be the baby doctor, but the baby doctor may not make money like the brain surgeon or the anesthesiologist. Why people make money, there's a million reasons. Sometimes it's where you live, what you do. There's people in certain businesses that don't work as much as other people. I mean, I'm on a treadmill for 4 hours a day. There's probably big stars like Bob Costas that are rarely on that make fantastic dough, right? Like, who knows who makes money, why they make money, what translates to big money? Teachers should make more. Firemen, I think, make more than police officers. They don't have to wear a gun to a fire. It seems to me that the police officer's in more danger than the fireman. Who knows what people make? It's just different industries, different unions. You know, I try not to worry about my neighbor's pay stub. But NFL players now are watching NBA guys, and they're like, whoa, what about our deals? So first, let's start with this. My entire life, baseball players have made the most money. Until this recent TV deal with the NBA, baseball players always made the most. In fact, there's an old saying in sports that when it comes to ideas, the NBA thinks of it first, the NFL gets the idea right, and baseball makes the most money on it because they have the most inventory. They have 162 games. These teams also have minor league facilities, and they sell those out in Scottsdale or Jupiter, Florida. They're selling out 20, 30 games there. Then they go to the playoffs and get more home games. You can have 100 home dates in spring training in baseball. That's a lot of game day revenue. An NFL owner has 8. And you could say, what about their TV contracts? All these leagues make a fortune on TV outside of the MLS. Hockey now has a Canadian contract, a United States contract, TV contract. They make a fortune. Baseball does, NBA does, NFL, college football. All these pro leagues make a fortune on TV. But in terms of game day revenue, you can't make a lot in Jacksonville, Buffalo, Green Bay, Kansas City. Some of these small markets in the NFL, Indianapolis, New Orleans, San Diego, now L.A. Not a lot of game day revenue. In baseball, you got 81 games minimum, programs, food. For an owner, a lot of game day revenue. The second thing is every sport has a downside. Okay, so anybody that's jealous of Major League Baseball, boy, I'd love to be a baseball player. Think of the downside. A third of rosters are pitchers. I mean, how many pitching careers have been cut short? Go look at the DL right now in Major League Baseball. There's teams like Houston, which have seemingly had 75% of their staff on the DL this year. The reality is pitchers are constantly having careers shortened due to arm issues. It's an unnatural motion to throw a baseball 95 miles an hour for 3 hours. Secondly, the minor league system in baseball is a complete and utter beatdown. Unless you're Bryce Harper, you can be in the minors on road trips for 6 and 7 years. All it takes is one rough, rigid old baseball guy that doesn't like you, and you're traded to another team, and you move your family again. Let's think about basketball. Basketball's great. Yeah, but basketball has the smallest rosters, and now it's a global game. It's a global game. You're not just competing against a Michigan football player if you're a Buckeye trying to make the Buccaneers. You're now competing against Lithuania and Slovenia and Germany and Latvia and the world. Small rosters, global competition. Let's talk about hockey. Well, they make the least money. Football's got a lot of advantages. You're only dealing with domestic competition. The college experience, i.e. the minor leagues, is the best by a mile in college football. You have the biggest rosters by far. So you're not going to have, generally speaking, LeBron leverage for most NFL players, though Brady has it, Aaron Rodgers has it. Heck, even Kirk Cousins has leverage right now. Derek Carr has it. There are a few LeBron-esque leverage situations, and those guys are all making 85% of what LeBron's making. But I thought Jason Whitlock brought up another point about NFL guys whining about contracts.
It's like a kid that grows up an only child comparing how much gets set on his plate versus a kid that's got 5 brothers and sisters. You get less chicken when you've got 5 brothers and sisters. There's 53 guys on an NFL team. There's 15 on an NBA team. There's about 3 guys on an NBA team who matter. And then in the NFL, there's about 20 guys that matter.
I was thinking this morning, if I was like 14 years old and I was a really good athlete and I could choose baseball, hockey, football, NBA, and let's just pretend you're one of those athletes. You're a guy like Joe Mauer of the Twins or a LeBron James, where you could have literally picked another sport. When I was a kid growing up, Dave Winfield. Like, what would you choose today? And it would still all come down to, what do you really love to play? Because I can tell you that baseball's got its issues. I can find NBA, global competition, tiny roster issues. Football, if you love the sport, it's an incredible college experience. They have huge rosters. You can make, by the way, average salaries. You can make a lot of money. And the other thing about football, the big advantage for football, look at how big college and pro coaching staffs are. There are coaching jobs everywhere. 120 Division I programs. They've all got 15 coaches minimum. The NFL's got teams with 22 coaches. There's Canadian football. You can also coach there. So, you know, that's one of the things about football. Yep, you're not going to make as much at the very top as the NBA. But if you love the sport, it's got a lot of advantages when it comes to contracts. Here is veteran newsman John Goulet with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So, as we've discussed this morning, Gordon Hayward going to Boston, and apparently this is just becoming a tradition now because fans in Utah have started to burn Gordon Hayward jerseys just to prove that they are willing to waste their own money.
Yes.
Now, I kind of get it when LeBron leaves and when Kevin Durant leaves.
This is like
Gordon Hayward?
Yeah, and by the way, he was so classy the way he left. In a couple of minutes, I'll give you the letter. He could not have been more gracious. You know, I mean, we beat up on LeBron, we beat up on KD, we beat up on Melo, we beat up on Dwight Howard. There's just no win for players here. Listen, there's just no win. There's just nothing you can do. He was as nice as you could be. You should read his Players Tribune letter to the state of Utah. It could not have been more gracious.
Plus, this is he kind of has the built-in excuse of like, hey, my college coach that recruited me is with this team. How can you get mad at that?
In the end, that was, I think, the primary reason. I think that was the closer.
So Yankees phenom Aaron Judge leads the majors with 28 home runs. He hit another one yesterday in a loss.
Yes.
He hit it so hard it dented a wall that it hit. The exit velocity, that's the new fun stat in baseball this year. The exit velocity when he hit it was 118 miles an hour. Now, next week, we are going to be in Miami for the All-Star game.
Yes, we are.
Is that the guy you're most excited to maybe see? I know you're a Harper guy, but the Judge story is pretty awesome.
Well, let's face it. When you're in New York, stardom is easier to create. So he is like, and if you go to we check the tabloids every day in New York. He is the back of the tabloid guy, and it also helps. There is just something about there's a Paul Bunyan quality to certain athletes.
He's a defensive lineman. He's 6'7".
Like J.J. Watt. I mean, Aaron Judge. Mark McGuire had this. There's a quality about him that he just looks so much bigger and stronger than everybody else. I was funny. I remember about 3 years ago reading about him in, like, Baseball America. And they were saying there's this 6'7" outfielder, and I'm thinking, that doesn't even sound right. Like, that guy's not going to be a big. I didn't think he would be this good because he sounded like a lumbering outfielder with a big looping swing, and I thought, oh, he's going to do nothing in the bigs.
When he came up last year, it was, well, if he can get the bat on the ball, it'll go a mile, but he couldn't hit the ball. He's hitting .330 this year. I mean, he's not just a power guy. He's an average guy. He hits second in their lineup. And finally, the greatest American athlete of all time, Joey Chestnut, won his unprecedented, probably, 10th Nathan's hot dog eating contest yesterday. He broke his own world record. Did you see this? He ate 72 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
I have some interesting nutritional questions for you about 72 hot dogs. Do you know how many calories that is?
400 a hot dog, 70, I don't know.
20,160 calories.
So he has to throw up when it's done, right?
I would hope so. I don't know that you want to process all of that. Do you know how much total fat that is?
600 grams.
Not even close. 1,296 grams. What's the bad fat? Is that saturated fat? You're a health guy.
Trans fat, saturated fat. I'm against fat, period.
Saturated fat, 432 grams. Good news, though, 720 grams of protein. We were debating this now before the show. How much time does he have left? Like, how many years does that contest take off his life?
Oh, I think
he's on borrowed time as it is.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a guy that did a show that he would go in and eat a lot. Alan Richmond. What was his name?
Adam
Richmond.
Man versus Food, yes.
Man versus Food. And I read a story one time, and he had to, like, eat olive oil or something to lubricate the intestines, and he'd throw it up. And I'm like, that's just not that's not like being an accountant where you can do it for 60 years. You can do that for about 5 years, and then it takes years off your life.
Chestnut trains, too. Like, he's getting better at this.
Oh, God.
That's the news.
Veteran newsman John Goulet with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
I'm not a big hot dog guy, but what always grosses me out about that is when they dip them in water. There's just something, the bun in water. It's a skill.
How about the shaking they do to try to get the food down their stomach?
Oh, God. I didn't watch it yesterday, and I haven't watched I've seen highlights. I don't watch it. But I always think when I watch that, there's somebody that's in the newspaper business that has been a dogged reporter and went to a journalism school, and he has to cover that. And he's literally thinking, I want to cover a World Series, a Final Four, and he's covering Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest. So my heart goes out to every journalism major who was hoping for a greater life and was reduced to being, was it Coney Island, to cover that thing yesterday. Oh, I did think Gordon Hayward, I probably shouldn't push you to other formats, but the NBA has what they call a Players Tribune. I thought Gordon Hayward's letter was very classy. Toughest decision of his life. Longest weekend of my life. The meetings were unbelievable. Miami, Utah, Boston. 7 years in Utah. I'm going to leave. Life-changing. He talks about when he got there, he moved to a place next to a Subway sandwich so he could get his sandwiches, do his practice, make the team. But it is interesting about guys who leave, right? Guys who have these decisions. LeBron did titles. Bosch did titles, but career ends. Dwight Howard, it was a mess. Melo, kind of a mess. Dwayne Wade, sort of a mess. CP3, we'll see. Kevin Durant, title. Marcus Aldridge, bad fit. I think this is a pretty good fit for Boston because of Brad Stevens. It is going to put a little more pressure on Gordon Hayward now. It's a much higher profile team, and he's seen as a star, and we want our stars to deliver. But I will say this about NBA players. If you look at all these guys that I picked, two things jump out. Most of them just want to win more. I know you get angry, but they're choosing places to win more. And the other thing is, a lot of them leave smaller markets. Salt Lake City, Cleveland, Orlando, OKC, New Orleans, Portland, Denver. And they go to more glamorous places in bigger cities, Miami, San Francisco, L.A., New York, and Houston. Paul George wanted out of Indy to go to L.A. What this reinforces to the NBA fans, and it's kind of a reality, is NBA players generally do prefer bigger markets, because even if you are happy in Salt Lake, Portland, OKC, one of the stars on your team is not going to be, and he's going to leave you, like Russell Westbrook's situation. So small market fans have always felt like in the NBA, hey, we're flyover country. This is not fair. And I've said for the last several years, the last 10 years, it's been a really healthy NBA for smaller markets. It's been good for San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, Memphis, Indianapolis. They've had very nice 8-10-year cycles here. But one thing that's becoming clear, and this goes back to the history of the league, is that NBA players can't disappear in public. An NFL offensive lineman, even Tom Brady in Boston, puts on a hat and sunglasses, you can disappear. A Major League Baseball player can put on a hat in Miami and disappear. If you're a 7-footer living in Utah and Portland, man, you can't disappear. It is a fishbowl. And I think even if you get the occasional star who wants to play in his hometown like LeBron wanted Chris Bosh to go to Cleveland, and he wouldn't go. And would Kyrie Irving have come if he wasn't drafted already by Cleveland? So I think this reinforces a reality, is that even if you love Utah or Portland or Orlando or OKC, the chances are other stars in the league will not come there if they have a choice, free agency, or are on your team and are looking to go. It stinks. It's not fair, but I've felt for years, I wrote about this in my first book, is that sports is uniquely fair. Small towns, Odessa, Texas, they own high school sports. Medium-sized cities, Birmingham, Ann Arbor, they own college sports. Mostly professional sports, there is an advantage generally, increasingly in the NBA, to be a coastal city or a more glamorous city. It does not mean Portland and Utah and OKC and Indy. It doesn't mean you can't win. I think it's been a very good 10-year run for the Pacers and, the Spurs, the Thunder. You've had a nice run here on small markets, but it does feel like to me we're kind of segueing into a different time where players, even if in their DNA they're okay playing in a smaller town, if they want to win, they got to go to a Houston. They got to go to Los Angeles. They got to go, Miami, San Francisco. Miami's still called a glamour city. They lost on Gordon Hayward, but you're starting to see things now. KD left Oklahoma City. Gordon leaves Salt Lake City. Paul George says, get me out of Indianapolis. And I think it's reinforcing a belief. And I don't think that's necessarily great for the NBA. They've overcome that for years. It is not ideal for the NBA. I think you want to feel like the NFL that Green Bay and Seattle has as much chance as the New York Jets. And in this time, they're actually much better. Chris Broussard is around the corner. Just starting today, Charlie Weiss. Been talking to him via phone for the last month. Excited to have Charlie Weiss on our show today. Big news coming from our friends at M-Drive. Regardless of your daily routine, M-Drive's got a product designed just for you. Yep, true to form, M-Drive's developed a new workday energy supplement called Workforce. It contains clinically tested ingredients. Okay, this is real science. Designed to support healthy testosterone levels. All in one formula, helps now and later. Purchase M-Drive virtually anywhere. Stop by a Walgreens, a Duane Reade, go down the supplement aisle, and purchase Workforce today. Also go online at buymdrive.com. That's buymdrive.com. Type in the promo code HERD, H-E-R-D, and that gets you 25% off. Refind your prime with M-Drive. It's real science, clinically tested ingredients to boost your energy and the T levels you already have in your body. Buymdrive.com. When you create this sense that, hey man, they got a party going on in Houston. Daryl Morey acquires Chris Paul, knowing they may not fit together. But having watched LeBron and D. Wade not ideally fit together, what it created was a sense of veterans willing to be part of something, walking past a bar where there's real fun going on. What do you know this morning? Carmelo Anthony is now open to waiving a no-trade clause and would consider the Houston Rockets.
Gordon Hayward, a one-time All-Star, going to be the savior of the Boston Celtics.
Well, but to Jim's point is, when you're, because they whiffed on Butler and they whiffed on George and they don't have Porzingis, Gordon Hayward will be seen as the franchise lifter.
To me, he's that third guy that gets you over the hump once you complete that puzzle.
That trifecta, 3 stars.
Because he can do so many things well. What does he do great? He's intelligent. He knows how to play the game. He can guard multiple positions. But is he a guy that I'm going to anchor my ship to and say, I need you, if Isaiah is not in the game, I need you to lead us in Game 6 and Game 7 against Cleveland.
I believe Kevin Pritchard was intent on not giving Paul George what he wanted. You're not going to Cleveland. You're not going to Boston. You're not going to the Lakers. How else to justify that? And I've talked to executives about this, and they've all said, yeah, ideally, if you're in that situation, you want to send the guy out of your conference. But at the end of the day, you have got to make the best deal for your team.
So you think Pritchard had basically Pritchard to stick it to Paul George?
I do believe that.
Wow.
I do believe that.
That's not being a good GM.
Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Diamondbacks. Major League Baseball, Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox, then at 10 Eastern on FS1.
For nearly 150 years, Continental has been making tires for the most demanding drivers. Tires you can count on, regardless of what the road throws at you, inspiring total confidence in any condition. Everything we learn on the track, we put into your tires. So you know you can trust Continental no matter what you drive. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Today's Best Western is more rewarding than ever. Rewards members get our best rates every stay. And with rewards points that never expire, you get more free nights at over 4,200 hotels worldwide, gift cards, and instant rewards. Now get a $10 gift card with every night you stay. Let's go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Thought the chalupa couldn't get any better? Meet the double chalupa. Get it with a Doritos Locos taco, a crunchy taco, and a medium drink. The new limited edition $5 double chalupa box. Love it while it lasts. Only at Taco Bell.
It's time for some straight talk. The big wireless companies lure you in with great coverage, but then charge you a really high price to use their cell towers. Not cool. Straight Talk Wireless uses the same towers but charges way less. You get the same 4G LTE network so your phone works in more places for a lot less. It's time to ask yourself,
why haven't I switched?
Get a Samsung Galaxy S8 or bring your own phone. Unlimited talk, text, and data, just $45 a month, no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
K&N high-flow air filters, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow.
Paint? No, this isn't just paint. This is the most advanced one-coat coverage. Made with molecules that bond stronger, bond tighter, and bond tougher in one coat for beauty that starts and stays that way. Because this isn't just paint. This is paramount.
new and exclusively at Menards.
Lexus of Dayton, the Miami Valley's largest luxury dealership. Check out our new state-of-the-art facility and feel the difference in automotive excellence. Now you can drive home in a 2017 Lexus ES350, including luxury package and navigation, for only $399 per month plus tax. Experience Lexus of Dayton's personalized customer service and the value of owning a new Lexus vehicle. Lexus of Dayton, a service company that sells great cars.
Some people look around here and see nothing but hard times. I see opportunity.
Snowfall premieres tonight at 10 on FX.
Get closer to the action like never before with NASCAR Race Hub.
Every night, the place to be.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
He's the guy I lean on. He is our NBA guy. He is Chris Broussard, also Fox Sports Radio, Sundays, 1 to 5 Eastern. So I was sitting there at the beach yesterday, and at the beach I live at, on the 4th of July, it was crowded. I wasn't getting very good phone reception. So I'm sitting there trying to look up all you guys and figure out what's going on. Boston is better today. I think we would both agree. But now Kelly Olynyk's going to have to go. He's been a valuable big. They don't have much size. And there's probably either a Jay Crowder or an Avery Bradley. Nice players, not Gordon Hayward leave. Could I not argue the NBA GMs, points in, points out, it's not a wash, but it's not a huge upgrade.
No, it's a good move, in my opinion. It gets them closer to Cleveland, but they're not going to challenge Cleveland, slightly more than they did last year. But he's a piece. And Jason Tatum, let's see what he becomes. Jason Tatum may become a younger version of a Paul George.
In 3 years.
Well, you see young players here and there come into the league. Kevin Durant, and I'm not saying he's Kevin Durant, but he came in averaging 20. It's hard to come in right away and be a leader, but there are players that come in right away and put up numbers. And Jason Tatum, maybe he's one of those guys that comes in right away and puts up numbers, and that's all they need. They don't need him to be the leader. So, look, again, they're not much more of a threat than they ever were to Cleveland, but I do think they're better. And the thing I like about this deal is that you're very good in the present. Second best team in the East, we suppose. And you're set up to be great in the future. So, look, I'm not mad at Danny Ainge for what he's done.
Don't you think, though, I'm not a dip into the 401k guy, but Porzingis is out there. He solves two problems, your lack of size, and he adds another 3. So you got Gordon Hayward, and you don't have to do much other than get rid of Kelly Olynyk and maybe Jay Crowder. Or is it perhaps that I get back into the Porzingis sweepstakes? Do you think there's any chance of that?
It doesn't seem that Danny's thinking that way, but you never know with him either. I agree with you. They have the asset. Look, Porzingis is tremendous. I think he's tremendous.
7'2", 7'3", hits a 3.
Yep.
And he's kind of today's 7-footer. He's not overly physical, but it doesn't matter. He can stretch the floor. He runs the floor. I just think this Gordon Hayward thing is great. But now you've got Gordon.
He historically he hasn't. I don't think he's always been.
Washington's going to match it. But then I'm stuck with John Wall, Bradley Beal, who I think on the open market could get you a lot in return. Otto Porter's not getting you much on the open market. So I'm paying for a guy, whether I have him, he's not worth the money, or on the open market, he's not worth the money. If you're Washington, would you sign him? $100+ million for a guy that 2 years ago people thought was a bust.
I know. I like.
I said this to the guys this morning. I said,
Even where Washington is right now, they're relevant in the East. My argument with them is that if I sign Otto Porter, I'm slightly better than I am if I don't have him. I might as well stay where I'm at without him and have the flexibility to go get somebody who can really help Wall and Beal.
I agree. This morning, true or not, small markets are sitting there thinking Indianapolis lost our star. Salt Lake City, beautiful city, lost our star. Oklahoma City a year ago, lost our star. Football fans in the NFL know markets don't matter. Right now in baseball, markets don't generally matter. Same with hockey. Nashville had a remarkable year. Should the NBA be concerned that this morning in America, stars don't want to play in small markets?
I don't think so. I mean, LeBron went back to Cleveland. Now, granted, he's from there, but Westbrook re-signed in Oklahoma City. He's from Los Angeles.
Okay.
You know, so I don't think that's the issue. I mean, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, they're not superstars, but they've re-signed in Memphis.
Okay.
And so Minnesota, you know, is looking pretty good. You know, I think Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins will stay there, at least for their first max deal. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the problem, as we've talked about, the Western Conference teams are better managed than the Eastern Conference teams. They've drafted better. They've put together, you know, they're more creative. I mean, like I said, Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, whether they've got cap room or not, they're in the free agent hunt.
Always.
That's because of good management, being creative with the numbers, the players, and things like that. So I don't think the market is an issue in the NBA.
Chris Broussard joining us. I was saying Steph Curry may not be as respected among players as Westbrook, LeBron, KD. But if you want to see his impact, you could shoot a three-pointer 20 years ago in this league. Steph Curry comes in this league now, and Otto Porter, who can suddenly hit a three. J.J. Redick, Joe Ingles, Alan Crabb.
Chandler Parsons.
Okay, this league now You don't have to be able to jump. You don't have to be strong. You can be injury prone. If Bradley Beal's on the open market, and I like Bradley Beal, these guys owe a debt of gratitude to Steph Curry. The three-point shot, you could shoot it 25 years ago in this league. Curry has changed the way you even pursue. God, look at the Lakers. Can the big shoot threes?
Yeah.
So if you can't shoot a three, you're almost useless in this league.
He's revolutionized the game to a large degree. There's no question about it. But what I would say to teams, you have to utilize the three. There's no question you have to be able to shoot it. But I would say to these coaches and these teams, play to your strengths. Everybody can't play like Golden State. You know, Memphis, one thing I like about them is they play to their strength. And they're about as good as they should be with the talent that they have. I want to see New Orleans play to its strength. I don't want DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis at the three-point line. Occasionally, fine. But their bread and butter should be closer to the basket because those are the types of players that they are. Everybody, I talked about it all last year, Cleveland. They shot more threes last year than Golden State, but they can't outshoot Golden State from three. They got to stay with their defensive identity.
Chris Broussard joining us today. Good seeing you, bud. Hour one down, hour two next in L.A. It's The Herd.
Being B positive, I know that I'm making a vital contribution to the partnership to ensure that everyone can live healthy, productive lives. So the sacrifice is more than worth it.
The partnership. We're here.
The new Falcon Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tire is engineered with one of the deepest tread depths on the market for long-lasting wear and uncompromising performance. For the ultimate tread life and traction, get the Falcon Wild Peak AT3W.
Welcome to paradise. For $250, all the pressure's off. Cabela's Polar Cap Equalizer Cooler. Great price. Lifetime guarantee. Only at Cabela's.
In preparation for man's journey to Mars, NASA requested applications for space travel candidates. It takes ambition, a can-do attitude, and a lot of moxie to be chosen for one of the most coveted positions in the universe. Runners-up, we invite you to apply to our management trainee program at 84 Lumber.
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance with Geico.
Huh. I should take a closer look at Geico.
Geico can help with way more than car insurance. Boats, homes, motorcycles, even umbrella coverage.
This guy's gonna wish he brought his umbrella.
Fire at will!
How'd you know the guy's name is Will?
Yeah.
It's an expression, you know? Fire at will? You never heard of that?
Oh, there goes Will.
Bye, Will. That's not his name.
Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
Hey.
Kevin Harvick.
Changing your oil after 3,000 miles?
Yes.
If you'd use new Mobile One annual protection, you wouldn't have to. You protect your engine for 1 year with just one oil change.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Why are you 3 inches tall?
What? You don't like short people?
Dikembe.
Don't change your oil.
New Mobile One annual protection.
To make bacon better, make it thicker. To make thick bacon better, you add brown sugar. After that, there is no better. Put the whipped cream down. Arby's, we have the meat.
So if anyone has a reason that these two should not be wed, speak now.
So sorry.
Oh, no.
It's just that your friend Daryl here is supposed to be live streaming the wedding, and he's not getting any service.
I missed, like, the whole thing.
What?
And I just got an unlimited plan.
It's the right plan, wrong network. See, Verizon has the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in America. It's built to work better in cities. Tell you what, just use mine. Thanks. No problem. All right, let's go live. Say hi to everybody who wasn't invited.
When it really, really matters, you need the best network and the best unlimited. Plus, get the Pixel by Google for just $15 a month.
It ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
5 calories, no artificial sweeteners, and taste amazing. Bye.
K&N high-flow air filters, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow.
If you're going to chase your dreams, remember, they're faster than you think.
Space. For Travis Brown, it results in a greater impact. For Alexei Olenek, less space produces constriction, equaling submission. UFC 213 prelim, Saturday 7 Eastern on FS1.
The Falcon Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tire is designed with our proprietary 3D Canyon Sipe technology to resist wear from high torque and provide even more handling stability. For the ultimate off-road grip, get the Falcon Wild Peak AT3W.
Baseball Buzz, Wednesday, July 5th. Meet the Marlins.
My favorite food is Mexican. Tacos, man. I'll eat the little street tacos. I'm all about it.
I like going to the beach. I'm from Southern California. You know, I've tried surfing a couple times. I'm not great at it. It's tough.
Yeah, I got a pretty good shoe collection. I try to just kind of stay under the radar with it, though. If I'm not in Under Armour, I'm definitely in Jordan. I don't wear anything other than that.
Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Diamondbacks. Major League Baseball, Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox, then at 10 Eastern on FS1.
We understand the value of hard work. We know great things don't happen overnight. We get up earlier. We work harder. Because connecting you to what matters to us. That's who.
All personalized for you.
Because it's my list, loaded with savings.
Sign in to Kroger.com today.
Take home sweet Northwest red cherries for $1.49 a pound, and 18-count Kroger large eggs are 99 cents.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Charlie Weiss will join us in 30 minutes. Former Notre Dame football coach, Patriots offensive coordinator. Been picking his brain for the last couple of weeks via texting. And excited to have him in. I'm getting excited for football. Work the rest of this week. Then next week we go to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Jacked up for that. We're going to have great guests. And then go on vacation for a week. Going to hang out in Utah and just, do what you do in Utah in the summer. Hang out, fish, I don't know, whitewater raft, whatever you do. I don't know. Bike, whatever you do. And then come back and it's like football season. And we're going to have a lot of football, very, very fired up for it. It's all this money is going out there in the NBA and these contracts. But generally, I can take some bad contracts in the NBA, but generally, because one or two players can have such an enormous impact in basketball, I'm okay with most of the big contracts. They're worth their money. KD, Steph, Clay, Kawhi, James Harden. You look around to the rich guys in the NBA, they produce wins. I'm not a huge Westbrook fan, but they're a lot better with him than without him. If he left, that franchise would go under. They're now a playoff team. Russell Westbrook can certainly elevate you. What I don't understand about sports contracts, because I think hockey is very well run. They don't pay a lot of money for a lot of people. Football pays the quarterbacks. That's about it. That's the way it should be. NBA, they pay their stars. Some teams do get trapped, and there's a floor you have to meet, and sometimes you get forced paying Alan Crabb, which you probably don't want to pay him. But what I never get is baseball. In Major League Baseball, it just comes down to personal discipline. And baseball's always been considered like the thinking man sport. You got to be brilliant to run a baseball team. But is there any sport where there are more ridiculous, massive contracts? I would argue almost none. If you went historically and looked at the biggest contracts ever. Now, A-Rod's got a couple of those, but he wasn't worth the money in Texas, certainly. And in New York, he won a title, but they also brought in A.J. Burnett, C.C. Sabathia, Mark Teixeira with A-Rod, so the team was really loaded. But start looking at the baseball contracts. Every time an NBA guy signs a big deal, the optics for me anyway are, well, he makes them better. Gordon Hayward makes Boston better. I don't know how much better, but he makes them better. Whenever I see a massive baseball contract, do you know the first thing I think? There's a desperate organization that didn't do their homework. Average minor league players, hasn't been smart with their money. That's the first thing I think of. Pujols to the Angels. My first takeaway was, oh, that's not going to work out. And you knew by the all-star break of the first year, it wasn't worth it. Robinson Cano to the Mariners. Your minor league prospects hadn't panned out. You overpaid, overextended. You were largely desperate. Giancarlo Stanton. Miami had a new stadium. They had to have a star to open with it. It's not worth the money. Joey Votto. Joey Votto was like, he's ours. We can't let him go. Griffey's no longer here. We got to pay Joey Votto. They're in last place. Joe Mauer with the Twins when they retained him. That would say, oh, my God, if we don't retain him, what is the message to our fans? We can't keep our stars. They signed Joe Mauer. They couldn't afford a bullpen. Ryan Howard and the Phillies, when they retained him, the organization's gone straight down since. So, in baseball, people can talk about NBA salaries. Find me a baseball salary that you're like, that's worth every penny. I mean, LeBron's making $33 million. He's worth more than that. Steph Curry's making whatever he's making. He's worth every penny. They drive in fans. They produce wins. You can complain. Baseball contracts make no sense. It was funny. The Dodgers got clobbered, living in Los Angeles now. The Dodgers got clobbered by local fans and press, for mostly the fans, for not retaining Zach Greinke. And Zach Greinke was a good pitcher. He's not Kershaw, but he's a good pitcher. And he's been a good pitcher in Arizona. I'd love to have him on my staff, not for $250 million. But what the Dodgers did, and this tells me they're a well-run franchise, they got rid of salary. They dumped Matt Kemp. They wouldn't retain Zach Greinke. They waited to get rid of Carl Crawford's awful contract. That thing ran out. They did keep Adrian Gonzalez, who is a really steady player. He's a nice player. But, it's funny. The fans sometimes create this pressure. When I used to work at my former employer, I would listen to New York radio because I was based in Connecticut. And so when I was driving around on my way to work, or I would leave and I would head home, I would turn on New York radio, WFAN. And the hosts were often saying, let's show some patience. The fans were outraged. You got to sign Jason Bay if you're the Mets. Fans, baseball fans, despite being the thinking man sport, they put enormous pressure on organizations to sign stars. I mean, Boston went out and paid Pablo Sandoval a fortune. He can't even stay in shape. They paid David Price a fortune. David Price has no history of doing anything in the postseason, and now he's feuding with everybody. Broadcasters, media, bizarrely thin-skinned. So, I mean, in basketball, you may not like these contracts, but in most instances, the stars who get paid are worth the money. Stars in the NBA are worth every penny. In baseball, the thinking man sport, all these Ivy League guys running these baseball teams, how in the world can you validate these contracts? I mean, A-Rod brought a lot of attention to the Yankees, and he did win a title. There was a lot of garbage with it. There was a lot of negativity with it. It wasn't without flaws. And he's got one of the best deals. I mean, that's one where you went, well, he drove up ticket prices. We got a new stadium built. He was going to chase the home run record. He got us a lot of attention, kept us on the back pages. There was a lot of value to that. We won a World Series. But there was also a lot of downside to that contract. And here's something else. Shifting to LeBron. Well, I was thinking about yesterday, Gordon Hayward did not land with the Miami Heat. It appears they finished third behind Boston, Utah, and then Miami for Gordon Hayward. So now think of this. This is now 3-4 years after LeBron has left. This is Pat Riley Miami, no state tax Miami, glamorous Miami, multiple championships Miami. They have been reduced to finishing third of 3 teams for Gordon Hayward. They do not have a first-round pick next year. They are now going to have to probably overpay for Jamal Crawford or probably Dion Waiters. Is Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cavs, looking at that thinking, look what's happened to Miami. Look what's happened to glamorous Pat Riley, Aqua Water, Winter League, no state tax Miami. Take care of LeBron. And this is where, whenever we talk about the comparisons and the differences between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, it is clear. You can say Michael's the better player. That's fine. But look at the impact. Michael Jordan left North Carolina. They were still a powerhouse in college basketball. Michael Jordan left Chicago. 57 wins. He left. They won 55 games. Okay, LeBron leaves Cleveland and Miami. I mean, look at the numbers. I mean, Miami's essentially the Lakers East. I mean, if you think about it, they're glamorous, by the beach, Pat Riley, stars play, multiple titles. Look at that roster now. I mean, they're bailing water. They are not Cleveland. They are not Boston. I don't think they're as good as Washington. They're probably not as good as Toronto. They're certainly not as interesting as Milwaukee. I mean, you pay what you want for Giancarlo Stanton and Robinson Cano. You better take care of LeBron James. And I know you don't want to hear it, but there are times, and I think this is one of the reasons LeBron bothers Phil Jackson and bothers Pat Riley, and he bothers Dan Gilbert. He bothers billionaires and power brokers who have run this league forever. He bothers some shoe apparel companies, is that LeBron, even more than MJ, controls the league. Like, MJ could leave, and it was no good, but Carolina and Chicago were viable when he left. Cleveland was awful before he got there, awful the minute he left. They went from 61 wins to 19. Yeah, I mean, in like 3 months. So, I'm watching Miami, and I think I probably would have chosen Miami if I was Gordon Hayward, but I'm watching what transpired yesterday, and I'm thinking, they're an also-ran. Pat Riley now. Good coach, too. Good coach, rim protector, Gordon Dragic, great city, reduced to third for Gordon Hayward. Charlie Weiss is around the corner. We all have times when having a little extra cash would be so great. You want to go on a summer vacation, golf trip, Vegas for the weekend? Maybe get ahead on some bills. But for whatever reason, you just can't consistently get that cash. That's where Uber comes in. Uber and driving with Uber is a totally flexible way to earn money. And you can turn it on and off just like your car. For the things that matter to you, golf vacation, paying some bills, go to Vegas, want to plan a vacation, take a cooking class, you can do it with the extra money you get from Uber. Be your own boss. Work when you want. Take time off when you want. Uber is the ultimate side hustle. It really is. And you to make it easier, get your side hustle on. Go to Uber.com.
Saturday at 7 7 Eastern on Fox, then at 10 Eastern on FS1.
Make the most of your summer with Sam Adams Summer Ale. 3 new colors, same great taste.
For sale, Lakeside Getaway. Solid construction with mudroom. For $200, no mortgage necessary. Cabela's West Wind Dome Tent. Great price. Lifetime guarantee. Only at Cabela's.
Alexa, ask Domino's to place my easy order. Life moves pretty fast. If you can't track your pizza, you could miss it.
Order 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for just $5.99 each and track them on your favorite device.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
Strike a match. Catch a flame. Spark the conversation and ignite those appetites. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. From backyards to ball yards, we're heating things up in a big way. And the whole block's invited. So come as you are, as long as you come hungry. Kingsford, start something.
There's nothing more important to me than my vacation. So when I need to book a hotel, I want someone who makes it easy to find what I want. Booking.com gets it. I want their price match. I know I'm getting the best price every time. Come on, Gary!
Your vacation is very important. That's why Booking.com makes finding the right hotel for the right price easy. Visit Booking.com now to find out why we're booking.yeah.
What will you find here?
Happiness feels like this. Your heart upon your sleeve. Life is just a dream.
For life's most important journeys.
Ooh, lucky you. Lucky, lucky me.
Ohio. Find it here.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is on.
Looks a little tight. Here, I'll park it.
Dad, relax.
Whoa. You kids are way too easy these days.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now with summer's hottest offer. Get 0% for 72 months plus an additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in. During the Ford Summer Sales Event, get 0% for 72 months plus an additional $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends July 5th.
Consecutive games to earn this. You know how many games this kid played in to earn his? 0. His mom went to NFLshop.com to get it for him. 0. The best place to get authentic NFL gear? NFLshop.com.
NASCAR Racing, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
After all these big moves being made, how does the West shape up now?
Skip, I still believe the Warriors and the Spurs are the two best teams. I'm probably going to surprise you with the higher rank 3 through 5. I got the Thunder in the 3rd slot. I got the Rockets in the 4. I got the Timberwolves in the 5th. Nuggets, Blazers, and it was a toss-up between the Pelicans and the Grizz, and I went to Pelicans.
Okay. So where I'm with you is that the West got absurdly deeper, but it didn't change at the top.
No.
It will just make it harder for those two top teams, Golden State and San Antonio, to win as many games as they won last year.
Right.
I don't think either will. So far, Golden State hasn't gotten any better. They just stayed the same. Now, you could argue just
that same is pretty good.
It was pretty great. It was pretty great. All these teams down at the bottom, Memphis you could throw in there, New Orleans. New Orleans is still very dangerous.
With those two, they got two of the top 5 big men.
Is still there, so he signed.
Would you agree that they have 2 of the top 5 big men on their roster?
Yep.
Because Anthony Davis, I mean, whether you like him or Karl Anthony Towns, I think they're probably the two of the best. And then Boogie. Think about it. Boogie averaged 28 and 12 just year before in Sacramento.
And I'm going to say this one more time.
Drew Holiday needs to earn that money, too.
He will. Unlike you, I believe in Lonzo Ball. A lot of people do not believe in his father, and they get distracted by his father. But this kid will change Laker life.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
I think they got a shot.
Skip, you're going to have to,
I look at it. I know it's just packed.
You're going to probably have to win 44 games just to get the 8 seed.
No, I don't know about that.
Skip.
Well, everybody's going to be beating everybody. This is vicious stuff here.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Welcome back. I've never owned a bomb shelter, and I never will. I never want to be crazy bomb shelter guy for a lot of reasons. Number one is I think you look like a fool. Number two, I never really want to live there for any extended period of time. And number three is, I mean, you're sitting there storing cheese and desalinators and beans. By the time Armageddon hits, the cheese is all old. And, another reason is I don't really want to survive Armageddon. I mean, if the world ends and there's like 72 people that survive, I'm worthless. I don't even know how to invent a microphone. Would I talk about the rebuilding of America? I have no skills. I couldn't build a phone. I can't fix a tire. I can't make anything other than scrambled eggs and burnt toast. I'd be totally useless. Like there's people out there, bridge builders and highway people and architects and engineers, and there are a lot of valuable people in society. If we have Armageddon and you're stuck with me, we're all screwed because I can't do anything but talk. And so I never want to be crazy old bomb shelter guy for a lot of reasons. Is that what Danny Ainge is becoming? Holding on to all these crazy old cheese, beans, and draft picks. He's sitting there waiting for the one big trade and the one big move, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to be patient, and I got all the cheese and my desalinator downstairs. I'm not giving any of it away, and I'm waiting for the one big move, and it never really happens because the other players stay in a city if they can make more money. And, I mean, I know everybody loves patience. Oh, you got to be patient. Never take from 401k. But it has sort of like Boston won 53 games last year. Gordon Hayward probably, they have to get rid of Kelly Olynyk and maybe maybe a Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley. So they get a few wins and lose. I say they win 57, 58 games from 53. Well, they finished as the number one seed, and they're still not going to beat Cleveland. And they're not going to beat Cleveland and LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love. They're not beating that team in the next 2 to 3 years anyway, unless LeBron leaves, and then you sound like a crazy old guy crossing your fingers that LeBron leaves his hometown again, which I'm not sure is even going to happen. So, this accumulation of draft picks, I've said it before, I love draft picks when they're in the top 8. Those are generally where a majority of the stars come from in the NBA. There are obviously exceptions. But it's harder and harder now to guess who's going to work because you only get 1 year of college film. And for these international guys, now you get 1 year, 2 years of international film. How good's the league? How good are the guys on the floor against your NBA player? So I think it's harder than ever to figure out at 19 years old who's good. Even when you got 3 and 4 years, we thought Christian Laettner was going to be this. He had 3-4 years. It's hard when you have 3 and 4 years. Now you have a year. So, and if you look at the history of the NBA, after about the 15th, 16th pick, you're getting players who have limitations. I mean, again, you can build me an all-time great second-round team with Draymond Green and like a Manu Ginobili. I know, but Manu Ginobili's been the third best player on a San Antonio Spurs team. I mean, he hasn't been the star player or the second player. Draymond Green's the fourth best player on the Warriors. A couple finals ago, when Iggy was great, he was the fifth best player. So, I just think, is a crazy old bomb shelter guy that you're storing the beans and the cheese, and you're just waiting for Armageddon, and it may not come, and Anthony Davis may not be on the market for you. And if he is, he may not want to live in Boston, and Houston may come after him, and the Lakers may come after him. So, I'm not anti holding a few draft picks, but when you got 13, I'd rather have another star player and just have 7. I mean, because once you get out of the top 8, not a lot of NBA stars historically from there. And by the way, 22 last draft picks for Danny Ainge, bagel, no all-stars. You know? And again, I'll say it. John Goulet survives Armageddon, you're in better shape because he's a radio engineer. You could figure out wires and stuff. I survive it, we're all done. Unless we need a guy to just make toast all day. We're done as a society. Veteran newsman John Goulet.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
By the way, if your bomb shelter is full of beans and cheese, that's going to get a little ripe. I don't know that cheese is something that stores well for decades.
Do power bars store well?
Power bars, good. Some Swiss, not going to be great.
Bananas, not great.
Not good.
Bananas get brown by the time they're home. From Ralph's until home, bananas are ruined.
So finally, after 7 years, Chris Bosh is officially done with the Miami Heat. He was waived on Tuesday. It's been about a year since he last played in basketball because he's had health issues with blood clots. So this decision, it's kind of a weird thing where they still have to pay him his money, but it does not count against the salary cap. So that's a huge help for the Heat. That's $25 million off the books. Pat Riley's called Bosh, without a doubt, one of the greatest players in the history of the franchise, and apparently his number is going to be retired, which seems a little odd considering he only really played for about 6 years, and for 4 of them, he was the 3rd best player on the team.
I know.
He's 5th in points.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He might be. Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you know this about the Miami Heat. They have retired Michael Jordan's number and Dan Marino's number. Neither of which have ever played for the Heat. So by those standards, Bosh should certainly have his jersey retired.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think so. His numbers are pretty impressive. He scored a lot in Toronto.
He's got a very Eli Manning quality to him.
He's got 2 rings.
I know. I go back to Eli Manning. Eli Manning's the hardest guy when you get into these Hall of Fame arguments because he's been better in the playoffs than in the regular season, but he never misses a start. He's got 2 rings. He beat the greatest quarterback ever for the 2 rings. He's totally stabilized the franchise. But he really doesn't win a lot of regular season games.
It's 2 good Januaries. That's what has him as a potential Hall of Famer.
I feel the same way. I could probably be talked into both, depending on who was trying to convince me. Eli and Bosh, Hall of Famers.
Bosh's numbers, I think will support it.
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford is a part of this 3-team trade that's going to send Danilo Gallinari to the Clippers. Crawford's going to end up going to the Hawks as a part of this 3-team deal. But now the deal is agreed to, but it can't officially go through yet. And Crawford is reportedly just going to seek a buyout. He doesn't have any interest with the Hawks, and the Hawks are looking to rebuild anyway. So if they do buy him out, there are reports he would look to sign with the Warriors because they have that $5 million exception they could use on him.
The Lakers can play him twice.
There's also a different report out that he would want to play for the Lakers. He's obviously been living here in L.A. playing with the Clippers, so he wouldn't have to move.
If it's the last year of my career,
score a lot more points.
If I could score more points and get $16 million with the Lakers, or make 5 with the Warriors, and there'll be games he doesn't play, or not much. I think that's a rare instance when I wouldn't go just for wins. I'd want to play.
Get a ring.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between being on a bench and being part of an NBA franchise. I mean, God, when does he play for the Warriors? They already go 9 deep.
They do. He also, you've had him in here before. He has a career broadcasting if he wants it. So he might not necessarily be worried about as much money because he knows he's going to have a job after basketball. Maybe he just wants the ring. I don't know. And speaking of the Clippers, according to a report, your favorite point guard, Derrick Rose, is meeting with them this week as they will try to fill Chris Paul's hole from his departure to Houston. So he averaged 18 points a game last year with the Knicks.
Okay. So
he shot a whopping 22% from 3.
So Crawford and J.J. Redick, who can shoot threes, are gone. My 3 best players are Blake, DeAndre Jordan, and Derrick Rose, who can't hit threes. You're going in the wrong direction.
Lou Williams? That's. I mean, is that who you? I mean,
I think they're trapped. I feel bad. Sometimes these NBA teams, you lose a star, you just get trapped, and you got to spend some money.
Are you ever that trapped where you have to go get Derrick Rose?
He can still play a little.
You talked about before, you have to be able to shoot threes. He doesn't really he takes less than 1 3 a game.
I know. Listen, they're the antithesis of the Warriors. Warriors are young. Everybody can shoot a three. The Clippers are old, beat up. Nobody can shoot it. That's not good. As a math equation, it's bad for the Clippers.
Old and expensive.
Yeah. John Goulet, veteran newsman, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie
With
News.
True Car, find out what other people in your area paid for the car you're looking for. Save $3,000 off MSRP. Doesn't matter if it's a used or a new. You just want a more confident car buying experience. Let's bring him on. He's the Notre Dame head coach, the former Patriot offensive coordinator, a guy that knows a lot about football and somebody I've been communicating with the last month via texting. We're very techie guys, Charlie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I want to start. Let's start with college and move to the NFL.
Alrighty.
So we've got a year. The NFL gives you, Charlie, on average, about a quarterback a year. 1.5 college to pro that click. Next year, we could have 2 between UCLA's Josh Rosen and USC's Sam Darnold. Now, it's early. But a lot of the scouts and a lot of the murmurs are, okay, these are franchise guys, okay? We're going to have 2 this year minimum. So let's say you're back in the NFL. You know, a guy like me watches the game. But somebody that has a keen offensive eye who has coached in college and in pro, you're looking at those 2. What are the first couple of things you really care about?
Well, the first thing I want to do is talk to him myself. Because once you've talked to him for about a half hour, you get a feel, because the quarterback's play is not nearly as relevant as whether he has that special something to him. You know, is he the Pied Piper? Is he the guy that players want to play around? Do they want to follow him? Do they want to listen to him? And just because they're good athletes, just because they're a good quarterback or could throw the hell out of the ball, doesn't mean it's the guy you want. You want a guy who's going to be the leader of your program, because with all the dollars that are spent at the quarterback position, okay, you're not going to cut him. Once you take him, you're not going to cut him. You want this guy to be the guy that's taking you to the promised land. So if that's the case, you want somebody that's going to be the face of the franchise, somebody that you can count on and that the players are going to gravitate to. So really talking to him is even more important than watching him play.
Tom Brady early. Do you remember the interviews? Do you remember the it factor you spotted and Bill did?
The it factor to me showed up his first year that he was here, because we kept him as a 4th quarterback that year. You know, he would take all the guys who really
which is an underrated skill. You know, guys make their money, they don't want to hear it. Take me back to some moments where Tom has now started winning games when you had to chew him out.
Well, I can think of 2 in particular, one in practice and one in a game. So I'll give you 2.
Okay.
There's a Friday practice. We're getting Friday practices. You know, you're just tuning things up, getting ready to go, and we're throwing at the near end of old Foxborough Stadium, and we're in an empty set, and he throws a pass to the left, and the coverage on the card dictated him for the throw the ball to the right. You know, because we throw to, based off of where the coverage is, that's where you throw the ball. So I looked at him and I said, hey, why don't you throw it over there? because I wanted to know why he went back to the left side instead of staying to the right side. And he goes, because he was open. I said, it doesn't make any difference if he's open or not. I go, where are you supposed to go with that ball based off of that coverage? And he goes, yeah, but he was open. So I took my whistle and I took my script, took the whistle off, threw the script at him and said, go call your own plays. Now, of course, there were a few adjectives in there as well. But basically, he picked up the script and the whistle. He goes, no, you call the plays. But the point was made that, you don't run the show here. We run the show. We call the plays. You go ahead and execute the plays. Because when he was younger, you don't give him as much latitude. The more experienced they are, the more they've proven themselves, the more latitude you give them. The second time I could remember, we were playing the Chicago Bears in Champaign when the Bears Stadium was being refurbished.
Okay.
And the Bears weren't very good that year, and we were pretty good. We went there, in the first half, we were getting the ever-living crap kicked out of us. I mean, they were calling reverse passes and everything else. Everything they were doing was working, and everything we were doing was not working.
Right.
And it's right before halftime. We get the ball back, and we're trying to get at least one drive, get a few points to get some kind of momentum going into the locker room. And I said, okay. I called play, and I said, now, Tommy, if they play to Tampa, and if you don't have the seam curl, okay, just dump the ball off to the back. Don't risk a dangerous throw versus to Tampa. Well, they played to Tampa, and he threw an interception right into that guy. This was right after I had just finished telling him at a timeout. I just told him that. Well, he comes off the field. He knows he's trying to avoid me. He's trying to, and Troy Brown, who was the receiver he threw the ball to, who made the tackle on the play eventually, he gets in between us because I'm screaming at him as much as you could scream at anybody about, because coming right after a timeout. Now, fortunately for us, we came back in a game, and at the end of the game, he throws a wild touchdown pass, that he helped create that play for the game winner. So everything was hugs and kisses in the locker room. But for that 60 seconds.
Now, he doesn't pout. He's okay with it.
Oh, no, he didn't pout. The pouting was for about 30 seconds, and then life moves on. So I'm sure if Bill or Josh, choose him out for anything, it doesn't last long. It lasts for that little time frame, then he moves on.
Charlie Weiss is joining us, Notre Dame Patriots offensive coordinator, Kansas as well. We talk young quarterbacks and we talk about Brady. So they have an obvious situation with Jimmy Garoppolo. And, Jimmy's a real talented guy. But, he hadn't taken a lot of the bullets in games like Tom has. And it's a weird spot because Bill is, how old is Bill now? 65, 66 years?
Yep, he's
okay.
Mid-60s.
Bill's made his money. Bill's had his legacy. And he's always been a draft pick accumulator. Last couple of years, he's given some of those draft picks up to furnish Tom with some veteran players who can learn the playbook and get going. Do you think there's a possibility, Charlie, that Bill says, listen, we can't do better than this. I'd like to golf more. I don't like the cold weather. Jimmy's terrific. I've set Mr. Kraft up. This is a good team. Do you think there's a possibility that Tom and Bill go out together in a year or two?
Neither one of them's going out in a year or two. They're not. Neither one of them's even close to walking away.
Do you think Tom's got 3-4 years left?
Do you see any evidence of him not? I mean, I love when people ask that question. It's a rhetorical question. I mean, show me the evidence that the guy can't play. Show me the evidence. And you don't wish for somebody to get hurt. Okay, you don't sit there and say, well, the only way he's not going to play for the next bunch of years if he gets hurt. And no one should ever wish for a player to get hurt.
Right.
He's at the top of the game. He's obviously over the years he's changed his whole mentality as far as body preparation. He wasn't always like that.
I know.
When he was 22, he wasn't like that.
He was drinking beers, right?
Yeah, but he was like any other 22-year-old. But that's evolved over the time. He's become this, his this diet, workout. He was always a workout warrior as far as a locker room football workout warrior, when we got him, because he changed his body in 1 year. He came in at 100. I mean, he was 188 coming out of Michigan, but at the end of the first year, he's weighing 220. So I mean, it wasn't that he wasn't a workout warrior. It's that he's evolved, and that whole mentality about taking care of his body, and he spends a lot of time on his body. And I know I text him all the time, and he shows me no evidence that the end is anywhere nearly in sight.
You had some success at Notre Dame. Let's shift to Notre Dame. And certainly Brian Kelly's had some success. But I've said for years and years, I think college football is better when Notre Dame wins. I like them to win. It is isolated. There's religious overtones. It's academically tough. Not a lot of players in a 100-mile region. Is it unrealistic to consider Notre Dame to be able to attract the kind of 18-year-olds that LSU, Alabama, USC, Texas, and that Notre Dame is closer to a Wisconsin? Go win 10 games, Charlie, be a hell of a program, great academic institution, but that Notre Dame really isn't a top 5 job. It's simply tougher in the arms race. They have stricter academics, worse winter weather. That Notre Dame's a 10-win program, not a 12-win program.
Well, let's just say this, okay? First of all, I think it's really important that you never say anything derogatory about a place that let you go, because then you're crying, you know.
Right.
So let's start with that premise. I think that when I went there, I did not believe what you. I agree with all the points you said, okay, except for the fact that I would not accept that as the goal, okay? Because when I went in there and said, okay, I'm not going to take some of the character risks some other people take. I'm not going to take low academics that some other people take. Okay, so let's say that cuts the recruiting base by 2/3. It leaves 1/3 of the players out there. I felt that it was going to be important to go out there and get about 15 of them every year.
Sure.
So 10 to 15 of your really good guys out of the 25 that you're taking had to come from that 1/3 instead of the. But you have to sell the positives instead of the negatives. Okay, for example, one of my big things when I talk to players, when they say playing in cold weather, I said, so you don't want to play for the Patriots then? You don't want to play for the Packers. Oh, so I guess it doesn't snow in those places, right? It doesn't snow in Pittsburgh. It doesn't Buffalo, Cleveland. You want me to keep going? So I said, I thought you said you wanted to play on Sundays. I go, I have to give you the bad news, son. Okay, but every game isn't played in Florida. Okay, so now you get them thinking. You get them thinking, well, okay, now playing in weather like that might be a good thing for this because it helps, get me ready to.
You shifted the paradigm.
So you always take what you might perceive as a negative, and you switch it to a positive.
Okay, stay there. I want you to come back again. I'm going to take a quick commercial. Be back with Charlie Weiss. Fun stuff, great stories, more to ask next.
This is Lynchburg, a small town in the heart of Tennessee, where families and neighbors work together to make every drop of our whiskey. If you can't get here, just look for one of our postcards. We send them all over. They look like this.
If you like the iconic chalupa from Taco Bell, you're gonna love this. Double the seasoned beef with nacho cheese sauce. The new limited edition double chalupa. Love it while it lasts. Only at Taco Bell.
This piece is so you. I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
This piece is so you. I saw it and I was like, have to have it.
From renter's insurance to rewards credit cards, State Farm is here to help life go right.
If you're going to chase your dreams, remember, they're faster than you think.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I used to ask if you could hear me now with Verizon, but I switched to Sprint.
Hey, are you happy that you switched?
Yes. Their network reliability is within 1% of Verizon, and their unlimited plan is half what you pay with Verizon for a family of 4. That's right, it's half. You could save over $1,000 in the first year. You've been ripping us off. Just think what you could do with that money.
I'd buy a new set of golf clubs.
Vacation.
Unlimited, $22.50 per month per line. 50% off Verizon Unlimited rates. Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much.
Strike a match, spark the conversation, and ignite those appetites. Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. So come as you are, as long as you come hungry. Kingsford, start something.
The day after chemo might mean a trip back to the doctor's office, just for a shot. But why go back there when you can stay home with Neulasta Onpro?
Strong chemo can put you at risk of serious infection, which could lead to hospitalizations. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease. Applied the day of chemo, Neulasta Onpro is designed to deliver Neulasta the next day, so you can stay home. Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to Neulasta or Neupogen, filgrastim. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal as well as serious lung problems, allergic reactions, kidney injuries, and capillary leak syndrome have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
So why go back there? If you'd rather be home, ask your doctor about Neulasta Onpro.
Okay.
Is that Marcy? Why does she look so great?
Oh, I just signed her up for the Fuel Rewards program, and she got instant gold
It's
status.
almost like she has a glow about her today.
No, it's the instant gold status. She's saving 5 cents a gallon on every fill.
Maybe it's a haircut?
I'm pretty sure it's the instant gold status. Here, check it out.
Oh, wow, I look great, don't I?
Get rewarded at Shell with instant gold status and save at least 5 cents a gallon every fill, every day. Join now at fuelrewards.com/gold or download the app.
Hi, Marcy!
DiGiorno? Do your thing.
Rise to the occasion. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Money is like life. You have to decide how to get the most from it. And just like life, every decision affects every other decision. The trick is making good decisions today, so you're ready for tomorrow when it comes. So we made you some simple free tools that let you see how what you do today will affect your tomorrow. So you can make smart choices about how to spend your money and your life. Personal Capital. Get to know your money.
Remember when taking a bath and going for a swim became the same thing for a few days? Then keep the tradition going at Bass Pro Shops with great deals like savings of 25% on all in-stock towables, boards, and skis. And check out our family summer camp.
This summer, we're changing the game. We're talking about white chocolate, Kmart, Dr. J, and the answer, Allen Iverson. Half court, 3-on-3. And introducing the 4-point shot. Game changer. This is where the best to ever do it keep doing it. Y'all ain't ready for this. Yay.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
7 more minutes with Charlie Weiss, great storyteller, former Notre Dame head coach, Patriots offensive coordinator. Here's a quote, just came down on Twitter from Daniel Jeremiah, very good NFL reporter, NFL.com and the NFL Network. Quote, I've had several sources close to Sam Darnold, USC quarterback, tell me, wouldn't be surprised if Darnold played 2 more years at USC. As a redshirt sophomore, he can declare for the draft early as 2018. So Charlie Weiss is joining us. You talked about 10 minutes ago, the it factor is a big thing for you. I've met with Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen. I do believe when you meet with both, there is an it factor. They are natural leaders. What else matters to you looking for a young quarterback?
Well, there's so many things that you could look at physically, but there's one that separates from all others, and that's accuracy. You know, people want to talk about arm strength. Can they throw the comeback in a bad weather environment? Can they make all the throws? But I have found that the quarterbacks that are accurate, that can get the ball there, I mean, that's what it's all about, getting the ball in the hands of the receiver.
Yeah.
And I think that accuracy is so much more important than any other physical attribute.
You know, let's go back to the Notre Dame discussion we had and I thought it was very, very entertaining, where I said, what about a kid who says, your weather's lousy, and your response was, oh, it's lousy in Foxborough, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Green Bay. But what if the kid says, Mr. Weiss, I really like this recruiting pitch, but your classes, academics, the workload, it's just the academics here. They're just not as hard other places.
I'd say to him, look, son, you want to work on Wall Street or you want to work on Main Street? Do you want to go make some money from your college education? Go somewhere where your college, the name of your college carries some juice when you walk into an interview? I go, that piece of paper carries a lot of weight. And Notre Dame people are everywhere.
Everywhere. Also, doesn't hurt to be a smart football player in the NFL.
No, as a matter of fact, as we were briefly talking about before, it's a statistical fact that most of the winning teams in the NFL are the teams that have the most college graduates on them. And that's one of the things that all teams are looking for. They're looking for, obviously, there's a number of guys that come out early now, that factors into it. But college graduates usually are more mature and more ready to go.
Learn the playbook quickly.
And football intelligence doesn't always have a correlation with regular intelligence. There are people that aren't very smart in books, but that do have good football intelligence, and vice versa. But generally speaking, somebody who can get it and graduate from college, usually you have a better chance of being successful mentally in the game of football.
There are certain guys, Bob Stoops probably could have had an NFL job, David Shaw.
Still can.
What's the difference? You've coached both. Guys usually pick a side. They're college guys, they're pro guys. Now, Pete Carroll did both, but it looks like Pete likes the NFL game. Deep down, Pete likes the NFL game. Give me the upside to college, the upside to NFL, and what guys choose, what they choose.
Well, in college, during the season, you have a lot more free time because the players are in class. So they're in class till 2 o'clock. You don't get them till 2:30 in the afternoon. So all that preparation time in the NFL that you have to do at night, you could do in the morning. So if you get into work at 5 o'clock in the morning, you got 5 o'clock till 2:30 to do all that prep work, to do all the research, so that you're not doing it at nighttime when you're dead tired. Okay. Now, the negative is that there's really no off season in college anymore, because now you can even have official visits in the summertime. And in addition, you can meet with your own players in the summertime. I think there's like a 2-week moratorium, and that's it. So, I mean, you're with them all the time. There's no such thing as vacation. Okay. In the NFL during the season, you're working many more hours, because in college you only can have the players for 20 hours, and that includes 3 hours for the game. So that gives you 17 hours that you could be with the players for the entire week. That's practice and meetings. In the NFL, you're meeting with them from 7 in the morning till 5 at night every single day. So that means that all your prep has to be done after they leave. Then you have to do all the prep work and then do it at night. So, because when they come in the morning, it already has to be done. Now, in the off season, okay, it's now, especially with the collective bargaining agreement,
you get weeks off.
Now the coaches in the NFL, it's like Club Med, because because there's so much more time, where most NFL teams close down from the middle of June to the end of July. It's all vacation.
I was at a 4th of July party last night with a offensive line coach in the NFL. And he's like, yeah, got camp here in a couple, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. And no one goes in. So if you went to the office right now, unless he's going to work out, there wouldn't be anyone there. So
what do you prefer?
I think that when you're coaching in college, you're hanging your hat on 18 to 23-year-old young men that are a lot less mature, as you know. Now, I do like the influence you have over them. You know, you're like a father, you're like a guidance counselor, you're like a civic leader. I do like those things.
That's what Jim Mora tells me he likes.
I
He
do
likes
like
that.
those things. But as far as coaching football, you know, you get to the NFL, it's business. You know, it's all business. I mean, you come in, it's football 24/7. So if you're really a football junkie, okay, you don't have to deal with a lot of the societal issues that you deal with in college, okay? You know, the only one that has to deal with that is the head coach and management. If you're not the head coach, if you're just an assistant coach, an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators are by far the best jobs in the NFL because you don't have to deal with the problems the head coach has to.
Or the owner.
Okay, and all you got to do is coach football. I mean, that's all you have to do is coach football.
Been an absolute pleasure, Charlie Weiss. I've been waiting for weeks for you to come on. All sorts of good stories. Charlie's stories off the air and on the air are fascinating, and we hope he comes on regularly on our show. And it's been an absolute pleasure. You delivered. I knew you'd tell great stories. It was so much fun for me.
It was a pleasure, Colin. It really was.
All right, Charlie Weiss. Last hour coming up. T.O. Eric Dickerson will join me in studio in Los Angeles. 4th of July week. Be safe. Hope you enjoyed your barbecue. Our last hour of the herd is coming up in L.A. after this.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
In preparation for man's journey to Mars, NASA requested applications for space travel candidates. It takes ambition, a can-do attitude, and a lot of moxie to be chosen for one of the most coveted positions in the universe. Runners-up, we invite you to apply to our management trainee program at 84 Lumber.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
Start your career as a walk-on.
Go 3-13 your rookie season.
Lead the league in interceptions.
Take a perfect team and blow a perfect season.
Spend 108 years as a lovable loser.
Serena denied a shot at history plan on Cedar Pole.
Be on the wrong side of the biggest upset in your sport.
You really want to know the secret to victory?
And heartbreak for Matt Ryan, who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat.
Come on, one more. Set. Yeah!
Make defeat your fuel.
Okay, so with the Fuel Rewards program, you'll receive instant gold status and get the rewards you deserve.
Awesome.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
Get rewarded at Shell with instant gold status. Join now at fuelrewards.com/gold or download the app.
Wow.
Mike's, drink on the bright side.
Winning the lottery hasn't changed us.
Not one bit.
Your controller, Master Jake.
GameFly is still the best way to rent and buy video games. Because we can play all the new and classic games. All our favorite games still come right to our mailbox. For one low monthly fee. And no late fees. Ever. So we can play in our living room for as long as we want. No matter where our living room is.
Start your free trial at Gamefly.com today. Also, play games streamed directly to smart TVs and streaming media players. Product shown rated B2M.
Spider-Man isn't the only hero in town. There's Pizza Man with Cheesy Bites Pizza. He has superhuman strength. He has that crowd-pleasing Cheesy Bites Pizza and his 28 poppable cheese-filled bites. No one out-pizzas the Hut. See Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters July 7th.
There's nothing more important to me than my vacation.
So when I need to book a hotel room, I want someone that makes it easy to find what I want. Booking.com gets it. And with their price match, I know I'm getting the best price every time. Now I can start relaxing even before the vacation begins.
Your vacation is very important. That's why Booking.com makes finding the right hotel for the right price easy. Visit Booking.com now to find out why we're Booking.yeah.
Arby's new triple thick brown sugar bacon. Did you know bacon this good existed? Neither did Arby's. Until we invented it. Arby's, we have the meat.
Have fun with the replaced windows.
Wait!
Leave them! Leave them! Brick and mortar, what?
When you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive, you get more than a big discount.
That's what you get for bundling home and auto.
You get sneaky good coverage.
Thanks. We're gonna live forever!
K&N high-flow air filters, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow.
Baseball Buzz, Wednesday, July 5th. Meet the Marlins.
My favorite food is Mexican. Tacos, man. I'll eat the little street tacos. I'm all about it.
I like going to the beach. I'm from Southern California. You know, I've tried surfing a couple times. I'm not great at it. It's tough.
Yeah, I got a pretty good shoe collection. I try to just kind of stay under the radar with it, though. If I'm not at Under Armour, I'm definitely in Jordan. I don't wear anything other than that.
Hi, yes, hi. We signed a contract for your AT&T internet deal, and not loving it, no.
No, we're gonna cancel.
Honey, I'm 1,000 years old. I got this.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Doing great.
We want to cancel? $180? You guys are bloodsuckers. No, not in a good way.
Termination fees are evil. Spectrum doesn't have them. AT&T bad. Spectrum good.
Every year, we survey other funeral homes' prices.
And here they are, Dad. Over 100 price lists.
That is a lot of surveys. And the highest price, over $7,000.
And look at that average, over $4,500.
I don't understand why everyone charges so much. At Newcomer, our price is just $26.95.
And our family satisfaction, over 98%.
Cremations and funerals of the highest quality can be expensive.
But not at Newcomer.
Something's coming, I can see it.
We're brothers.
We're brothers?
Do you like to see your brother suffer?
Brothers argue.
You want the ball. I want the ball, too.
Time out.
I feel I'm the best. I want to cover the best.
Are you sure you're still in the Hall of Fame?
Stop playing, Skip.
I said it.
We have something that no other team has.
Hop on the bandwagon. It could be a fun ride for you.
Choose a side. Boom.
America's fastest growing sports show.
This is undisputed.
This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. We have breaking news here. I love when we have breaking news.
Breaking news.
Look at John knows what I need, what I want. Nick Young, crazy goofy Nick Young, has signed on with the Warriors. He is goofy. I don't want to have to rely on him. But off the bench, they got him for a song, and they weren't a great three-point shooting team off the bench. They have a kid named Ian Clark. But they need some bench three-point shooting, so Nick Young, who was out there in the market, has gone to the Golden State Warriors. Now, it appears, John, Jamal Crawford, who the Warriors were also considering but can't pay nearly the money of the Lakers. My takeaway is now Jamal Crawford, Lakers, who's a good guy, who lives in L.A., who wants to stay here. You can sign him to a one-year contract. He's very mature. he would fit very nicely into what the Lakers are trying to do. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, and we talked about this before. You want to do things that'll help Lonzo Ball's stats, and having a shooter like that to dish the ball off to and just get buckets, like, that's perfect.
So they have Robin Lopez. Is it Brooke Lopez at center? Brooke can shoot threes. Brandon Ingram can shoot threes. Jamal Crawford can shoot threes. They draft a kid from Utah that can shoot threes. Jordan Clarkson's okay. Larry Nance off the bench can shoot threes. So it's very clear he's okay.
He's an above-the-rim player. He's not much of a shooter.
So, but you can see what Luke Walton's trying to do here. By the way, Luke wanted to keep Nick Young, but Nick Young's crazy. And
well, the funny thing is Nick Young actually now is he opted out of more money with the Lakers. And then now he ends up on the Warriors, so he'll get a ring, but he's actually going to make less money on the Warriors.
And won't play a ton.
No, but he is a 40% three-point shooter last season, as critical as you could be of him. And his immaturity is not going to hurt a team like that.
All right, now I want to get to this. Impact. Value. Kind of nebulous words. What do they mean? That guy's got leverage. That guy's got value. I'm going to tell you about value. And everybody's talking about Gordon Hayward today going to the Celtics, and I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But here is leverage, and here is value in the National Basketball Association. Steph Curry. I don't want you to look at the Gordon Hayward contract today. I want you to look at a handful of other contracts in the NBA today. Joe Ingles just signed a $52 million deal for Utah. Kyle Korver just signed a $21 million deal for the Cavs. Otto Porter just signed a deal for over $100 million, and J.J. Redick will make $23 million a year for the Philadelphia 76ers. And last year, Alan Crabb, a guy off the bench, signed a monster contract for Portland. Why did they sign those contracts? Steph Curry. It used to be biggest, strongest, what's your vertical? They got the big money in the NBA. Otto Porter averages 13 points a game. But Otto Porter, in the last year of his deal, started hitting three-pointers. If Otto Porter would have averaged 16 a game but couldn't shoot threes, he wouldn't get this contract. But Otto Porter makes 13 a game and has suddenly become a three-point shooter. That is impact. That's the impact of Steph Curry. As I've said, he's not as good as LeBron James, but LeBron and Steph Curry have far more global impact and far more domestic impact than Kevin Durant, who some think is better than both and is definitely probably better than one, and that wouldn't be LeBron. Is that Steph Curry has changed this league. Guys who are fifth best starter on a team that may win one playoff series are signing monster contracts because they can suddenly hit three-point shots. By the way, we've had the three-point shot in the NBA for over 2 decades. It's been around forever. But a little guy from Davidson proved that you don't have to have a 44-inch vertical, don't have to be big, strong. He broke in the league. He had really weak ankles. But you changed the face of the league. Steph Curry did that. LeBron's the best player. Steph Curry did that. And it reminds me, sports and television tend to be copycat businesses. And it reminds me about all these celebrity reality families. You do realize the Kardashians weren't the first. It was Ozzy Osbourne's wacky family. And then from Ozzy Osbourne's wacky family, you got Gene Simmons' wacky family and Duck Dynasty and the Kardashians and Housewives of Blank City and Honey Boo Boo City and Bret Michaels' family. And they all owe a debt of gratitude to Ozzy Osbourne's crazy family. And Joe Ingles and Alan Crabb and Otto Porter and J.J. Redick and Kyle Korver, nice players, send a Christmas card to Steph Curry. I mean, it is unbelievable. I don't have a problem paying stars. But Otto Porter was a bust 2 years into his deal. 2 years into his deal, he was a bust from Georgetown. Now he's averaging 13 a game and is going to sign a contract that 3 years ago would have made him the highest paid guy in the sport. You're welcome, Steph Curry. And let me add this. When Steph Curry went to the Warriors, when the owner of the Warriors bought this team 7 years ago, he bought them for $450 million. The Warriors are now worth $2.6 billion. 6.5 times the value. That ain't about Durant. That ain't about Draymond. That ain't about Kerr. That's not about Clay. That's about Steph Curry. That is impact. Well, I want to talk about the Gordon Hayward move. Gordon Hayward, Utah, Miami, Boston. We said it the last week. Our feeling was it was probably a 60% lean for Boston. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The way 2 days ago I was talking to an NBA executive, and I was talking about that deal. Jimmy Butler goes to the T-Wolves, and the Bulls got Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn and a pick swap. And he said, I know you guys in the media are crushing that move. But he said, a lot of the times the way general managers look at moves, at least to some degree, they all look at it this way, is points lost, points gained. He said Zach LaVine is 19 points a game. Chris Dunn averaged 4 and rarely played. He'll double that minimum to 8 to 10. He goes, that's 29 points. Jimmy Butler averages 24. Plus, you got a better draft pick. He says, you guys look at it as Jimmy Butler's this. He's a star. But the Chicago Bulls said, if Chris Dunn can average 10 a game, and he rarely played last year, it's reasonable to assume, I would bet money he would average 10 a game, Zach LaVine 18 to 19, on points lost, points gained, you're okay. It ain't the best move, but it's not the disaster the media paints it out to be. It's all about production. Who ends up with 108 points at the end of a game? And here's the thing with Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward gives you 22 a night. But now the Celtics, Kelly Olynyk is a free agent now. Now, he only gives you 9 a game. But in order to make the contract work here, they'll probably have to get rid of Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart, or Avery Bradley. And I don't think a lot of teams want Marcus Smart. So if you lose Olynyk at 9 a game and Avery Bradley at 16, that's 25 points. Gordon Hayward averages 22. Jay Crowder goes with Olynyk. He averages 14. That's 23 points. Gordon Hayward gives you 22. And Boston doesn't have a lot of size to begin with. And Jay Crowder plays big, and Kelly Olynyk at 6'11" is big. That's why I believe Porzingis for the New York Knicks to Boston still has to be part of Danny Ainge's plan. Because Gordon Hayward's coming on, but now you're going to clear some room, and if you just go points for points, you don't gain much. And Gordon Hayward is Jude Law. He's not Denzel. He's not Tom Hanks. He's Jude Law. He's good. He's talented. He's something. But not a lot of people burning jerseys over Gordon Hayward and Jude Law. You remember what Chris Rock said a few years ago at the Oscars when he was hosting about Jude Law? You remember this.
You want Tom Cruise and all you can get is Jude Law? Wait. It's not the same thing, okay? Who is Jude Law? Why is he in every movie I have seen the last 4 years? He's gay, he's straight, he's American, he's British. Next year he's playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the movie.
So the point being is, people burn jerseys for LeBron. They burn jerseys for KD. They change the landscape. Unfair, no parity. This is outrageous. You know what we're all saying today about Gordon Hayward? Good for Gordon Hayward. He's a good guy. I'll get 22 a night, and they'll win some games in Boston. People get angry at what they fear. Nobody in Cleveland today fears anything. Nobody in Golden State fears anything. Nobody in Houston fears anything. I absolutely believe you got to get the Knicks back on the phone and go after Porzingis. Boston's not beating Cleveland next year. And if LeBron stays, they're not beating him the year after that. So I like this, and I'm happy for Gordon Hayward, and he's a nice player, and he's a good kid. But in the end, we're not burning jerseys today. By the way, Nick Young has signed with the Warriors. They also added a big who can shoot threes. Omri Caspi, veteran minimum. He can shoot 6'9" guys, so you can argue their bench is better next year. Listen, we know this. Golden State is the overwhelming favorite next year. Golden State should be the overwhelming favorite next year. But I've argued over and over, we don't watch sports for parity. We don't. We know Alabama's going to win the SEC, and New England's probably going to end up in the Super Bowl, and UConn women are going to win all their games, and Serena Williams is going to win most of the majors she joins. We've never watched sports for parity, ever. The lowest rated the NBA was in the 70s when 8 different teams were winning championships. The Bullets would win one, the Sonics win one, the Blazers win one. The league was on tape delay. It was only when Magic and Bird arrived, and those two over the next 12 years, I think, ended up in like 10 finals together or with somebody else, that we started watching the NBA. And it's never been more popular than when Michael Jordan was dominating it. And 2 years ago and last year and this year, the finals ratings have been great. So listen, Golden State's easily the best team in the league. They should be the overwhelming favorite next year. And I think Cleveland's the overwhelming favorite in the Eastern Conference. But I think Houston's more interesting. The Lakers and Sixers rebuilds are interesting. I think the Celtics are interesting. And San Antonio probably recalibrates, and they'll be pretty good. So I still think the league is vibrant. But, you know, we have right now, we've had this for the last several years. It's really kooky that we have had this thing happening in sports despite what the NCAA is doing to give us more parity, despite all the regulations by baseball, football, basketball to give us more parity. In my life, doing this 25 years, there has never been less parity in sports, ever. There has never been a time where I've got a dynasty in New England, a dynasty in college football. Kentucky's your preseason number 1 in college basketball, landed 5 of the top 9 recruits. Women's basketball is all UConn. And the NBA, we know who's going to win it. I mean, it just, you know, hockey and baseball are the last two standing. I mean, that's it. But sports is never getting higher ratings. MLS is up. NFL's doing fine. College basketball had a great March Madness. NBA finals were amazing. So you're watching it, and it's not because of parity. Eric Dickerson, Hall of Famer, is around the corner. Big news coming from our friends at M-Drive, and it's real science here based on clinically tested ingredients. Regardless of your daily routine, M-Drive now has a product designed to develop an energy supplement. It's called Workforce. And again, this is science. It takes natural T levels and boosts them. Healthy T levels. Increases your stamina, your strength. It's an all-in-one formula, helps you now and later. You can purchase M-Drive by going online and typing in buymdrive.com, code HERD. That's buymdrive.com. Type in the code HERD, H-E-R-D. That'll get you 25% off any M-Drive purchase as you refine your prime. You can also drive around, pull into a Walgreens, or on the East Coast, Duane Reade, go down the supplement aisle. And Workforce is prominently displayed. This is all science, clinically tested ingredients to increase strength, energy, stamina, drive, and boost already healthy T levels. buymdrive.com, code HERD for 25% off. Every time an NBA guy signs a big deal, the optics for me anyway are, well, he makes them better. Gordon Hayward makes Boston better. I don't know how much better, but he makes them better. Whenever I see a massive baseball contract, you know the first thing I think? There's a desperate organization that didn't do their homework. Average minor league players, hasn't been smart with their money. That's the first thing I think of. Pujols to the Angels. My first takeaway was, oh, that's not going to work out. And you knew by the all-star break of the first year, it wasn't worth it. People can talk about NBA salaries. Find me a baseball salary that you're like, that's worth every penny. I mean, LeBron's making $33 million. He's worth more than that. Steph Curry's making whatever he's making. He's worth every penny. They drive in fans. They produce wind. You can complain. Baseball contracts make no sense.
Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Diamondbacks. Major League Baseball, Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox, then at 10 Eastern on FS1.
Hello. Mike's, drink on the bright side.
Is that Marcy? Why does she look so great?
Oh, I just signed her up for the Fuel Rewards program, and she got instant gold status. Here, check it out.
Oh, wow.
Get rewarded at Shell with instant gold status when you join now at fuelrewards.com/gold or download the app.
Hi, Marcy.
It ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
5 calories, no artificial sweeteners, and taste amazing. Bye.
The moment you realize this is definitely not the look you were going for.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need to create the outdoor space you've always wanted.
Hurry into Lowe's and get up to 50% off select patio furniture and outdoor decor.
K&N high-flow air filters, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow.
It's Domino's. I have to go.
Looking for this?
Yeah.
Order and track your pizza with Domino's Tracker.
I can shut down your power grids. I can paralyze your infrastructure. I can access the personal data of everyone in America. I am the enemy with no face, and I can't be stopped.
For every would-be cyber attack, there's a team of U.S. Army cyber warriors who will not be defeated. Find out more at goarmy.com/team.
This summer, your business can have its strongest season yet, whether it's from the air-conditioned comfort of their homes or on the go. Spectrum Reach can connect you with your customers on their TVs, tablets, and smartphones as they watch live championship sporting events, award shows, and over 100 new series. That's 3 times more than broadcast. So while broadcast is kicking back this summer, cable TV does not go on vacation, which means your business won't miss out. Visit us at SpectrumReach.com and let's make this summer sizzle.
Don't miss the 88th Annual LULAC National Convention and Expo July 4th through the 8th at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. On Wednesday night, enjoy Tejano sensations Ram Herrera, Stephanie Montiel, and Chente Barrera. There's a free Selena music tribute on Saturday night featuring Pete Ostadillo and Isabel Marie, and performances by members of War, Tierra, Malo, El Chicano, Sapo, Abel and the Prophets and Willie G, Richard Bean, and Fred Sanchez of El Chicano. Pick up your free ticket at the Latino Expo that also offers free health screenings, a job fair, and sports clinics. Join us for the LULAC National Convention.
How do you fit one into the other? Easy. Play 9. 9-hole golf is time-friendly, unwind-friendly, after-5 friendly. When there's less time, the USGA says play 9. How's your short game?
Something's coming. I can see it.
We're brothers.
We're brothers?
Do you like to see your brother suffer?
Brothers argue.
Choose a side.
This is undisputed.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
Here is value in the National Basketball Association. Steph Curry. I want you to look at a handful of other contracts in the NBA today. Joe Ingles just signed a $52 million deal for Utah. Kyle Korver just signed a $21 million deal for the Cavs. Otto Porter just signed a deal for over $100 million. Why did they sign those contracts? Steph Curry. It used to be biggest, strongest, what's your vertical? They got the big money in the NBA. Steph Curry has changed this league. Guys who are 5th best starter on a team that may win one playoff series are signing monster contracts because they can suddenly hit three-point shots. With Ceric technology, dentists can create a crown in just one appointment. Makes it fast and easy going to the dentist now. To find one with Ceric technology, go to 1-800-dentist.com/Ceric. That is spelled same front as back. 1-800-dentist.com/Ceric, C-E-R-E-C. Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson is around the corner. I went to a party last night, 4th of July party in the neighborhood, and an offensive line coach for the L.A. Chargers just happened to be there, lives around the neighborhood. Great guy. And we just sat there, and he had coached at USC, and now he coached in the NFL. And talking to Charlie Weiss earlier today, Charlie Weiss, if you missed our interview with him, I'll put it on the podcast. It was terrific. He just told terrific stories. And it's so nice to get insight. He's coached in the NFL, and he's coached in college. And I kicked myself because I wanted to ask him what he thinks is going to happen to Bob Stoops, and I just didn't have time to ask him that. I think that's going to be really, really interesting. I think Bob Stoops is way too young and way too talented not to be coaching NFL or college. My other takeaway, though, talking to Charlie and talking to my friend last night, the NFL coach, is that the one thing about, when these coaches like Nick Saban can choose either, Nick's now at a point, mid-60s, where he's going to stay at Alabama. But in the NFL now, because of the new collective bargaining agreement, it does give NFL assistants and head coaches, you get real weeks off now. You get 2 weeks off here, another there, whereas college football is doing the exact opposite thing, which is now there's summer visits. And so what's happening in college football, and I think this is why if you want to keep your Sabans and your Jim Harbaughs, if you want to keep the guys that can do both, college football is now extending its recruiting where coaches don't get time off. I don't think that's a healthy thing. And the NFL increasingly, because of the collective bargaining, is becoming a better place to coach. Well, if you want to keep college football vibrant with good coaches and less turmoil and less chaos and more quality coaches wanting to stabilize their families, coaching's hard enough. College football is making it tougher on families. They're just making it tougher on families. These Jim Harbaugh and your Sabans and your Urban Meyers, you don't give them 2 weeks off. And I just don't like what they're doing. I don't like now new signing periods. I like the way it was. I don't think it helps. And I think the NFL has figured it out, the collective bargaining. Keep your coaches young. I was talking to somebody yesterday about he had done research on how to make a company great. And, you do all these research. Doesn't matter if you're a small company, mid-sized, big company. And they went through all these surveys. It was a national study. And what they found is the best way to keep employees happy. It wasn't money. It was just be nice to them. Be nice to employees. And part of being nice is giving them reasonable schedules. College football's not so nice to its coaches. Recruit here, recruit more, recruit often, recruit now, compete. In a perfect world, you should be able, when the season ends, give coaches 3 weeks off, come back to the office for a week or two, give them another 3 weeks off, let them come back to the office, enjoy their families for another couple weeks off. You can't ask people to work 70 hours a week during the football season, and they still have to work 50 hours a week in the non-football. That's when guys say, I'm going to the NFL. That's when a guy who's not going to be a head coach says, I'd rather be a coordinator in the NFL and make $600,000 than make $700,000 and have to go on all this recruiting all the time. Be nice to people. It matters. Veteran newsman John Goulet with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So there was the report out earlier from Daniel Jeremiah that it would not be surprising if USC quarterback Sam Darnold stayed an extra year. He could come out of the draft after this season.
I said this a month ago.
I was going to ask you, do you, if you had to pick, which one do you think he does?
I want to watch the season, but I think the key with Sam's personality is he's going to, when I talked to him about 2 months ago, spring game, he's really grounded, good family grounded. He'll sit down with his parents and make a decision. But Andrew Luck came back off a 31 TD, 10 pick, 12-1 season, 71 completion percentage. Those are numbers that Darnold could get close to or reach or surpass. So Darnold just went to something called the opening this weekend. It's a camp for college kids, and he broke every record they've ever had for quarterbacks. So, but I think he's not desperate. He's grounded, and from my understanding from talking to USC coaches, he likes college. He like Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart liked college.
What's not to like about going to USC?
Yeah.
Well, he's also apparently working with Jordan Palmer.
Yeah.
Which is
Carson
Palmer's younger brother. He was a backup in the NFL a little bit. He's trying to shorten his release time.
Yeah.
And I guess his motion is too long. Darnold thinks if he practices this enough, it becomes muscle memory. Because that's the problem. As soon as you get under duress, you go back to throwing the weight. Do you like him doing that now? I feel like
it's funny because I talked to an NFL scout about Darnold about a month ago, and that was the only knock on him. He said his delivery's a little long, but he said when you watch him in the pocket in crucial situations, he does instinctively shorten it up a bit. But, I mean, none of these guys are – remember when Andrew Luck came out and they were saying, we don't like his arm? I mean, we just nitpick these kids to death. Darnold's good, going to be a good pro. He'll figure it out.
Chicago Bears rookie quarterback Mitchell Trubisky taken number 2 overall. Obviously, there was a lot of hype and a lot of grief, let's say, for what the Bears did in trading up, and a lot of people aren't really sold on him. One thing you can say about him, he's picking the right people to take advice from. Here's Trubisky talking about getting tips and advice from some of the best quarterbacks in the game.
I talked to Peyton Manning throughout the process about whether to come out for the draft or go back to school, and he gave me advice on that, as well as what the National Football League is about and what all you have to do in order to succeed. And I spoke with Andrew Luck about the same thing. I love talking to the guys around the league. I'm all about being a sponge and gaining as much information as possible.
I know you're not huge on him. What's your reaction to that?
Well, he's smart enough to know what he doesn't know. I think his issues are not all on him. I don't think it's a great franchise, and I think now he may not have the talent to just forge his way through that. But some of these young quarterbacks, you put them in these kind of duress situations with, we always blame players for everything. Go look upstairs. They cause a lot of the problems too.
And also, I mean, think about he's in a situation where he has a veteran head coach who needs to win to keep his job, but they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
It doesn't.
And finally, according to Darren Ravel, Dak Prescott has been accused of using a machine to make autographs for a memorabilia company.
Where can I buy that?
Now, I guess the principal authenticator of Beckett Grading Services said the autographs feel machine-like, and you can see where it starts and stops. You've talked a lot about this being one of the shadiest industries in the world, the autograph memorabilia.
Yes.
If this was true, would this make you think any less of Dak?
No. These teams, they have these deals with these companies, and Eli Manning and Dak Prescott come to work someday, and the team says, hey, you got 4,000 footballs to sign, or here's a nickel, and I don't think any. I mean, it's still a signature. What does it matter if it's from a machine?
When you released one of your books, I'm sure you had to sign a bunch of them. Would you have killed for a machine to do it?
You have no idea. I had to sign 4,000 books the first time and like 5 the next. You have no idea how long that takes. In fact, I changed my signature. I literally just chopped it down to, it's basically a C with a wiggle. I guess I couldn't do it anymore.
Now people are going to think that's fake.
No, it's me. It's bad, but it's me. Veteran newsman John Goulet.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Single-season NFL rushing record holder, a Hall of Famer. There's only 300 some on the planet. 6-time Pro Bowler Eric Dickerson now joining us here in the Herd. He's got a new Facebook show, Straight to the Point with T.O., Wednesdays during the football season. Fans can choose the topics. They talk for hours. So it's interesting to bring you on today because you have these NBA contracts. Mm-hmm. And, NFL players are like, wait a minute. Our league's way more popular, and our TV contract's outrageously big. How does a football player, look at NBA contracts?
With envy. Not jealousy, but with envy. And I think it starts with the Players Association. Our Players Association is not good. It's not like Major League Baseball. It's not like basketball.
Why is that, Eric? And
I think it's hard to get the players really to stick together. That's one thing. And I don't know. They just don't do a good job of doing what they should do for the players. All these guys that say, when I come in, I'm going to do this. They're just a bunch of almost like politicians. You know, they're saying all the right stuff, but when it comes down to it, it really doesn't. You think about football. Football is a sport that you play the shortest. You know, it's the shortest season, but your career is short also.
Yes.
I mean, your career could end like that.
Yeah.
The contracts are not guaranteed. You know, people think they think when they hear a 4-year contract for $40 million. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see all that money.
But you got $18 million guaranteed.
Yeah, you're going to see the signing bonus, and that's pretty much it. Unless if you get hurt, fine. But in basketball or baseball, if you see a $220 million contract, you're going to see it all. And in football revenue is $12 billion a year. And but basketball, I think it's $5 billion. You know, so it's a big gap right there. They have the money, but if you don't make them do it, why should they do it? If I'm an owner, I'm like, I'll pocket this.
Well, how many quarterbacks ever hold out?
I say that all the time. You tell me the last quarterback that held out. Thank you.
Kirk Cousins has given him a little difficulty.
But thank you, but he hasn't held out.
So is it the players that if the quarterbacks are the one guys that have leverage? If the quarterback said, they got in a room and said, hey, guys, from this point forward, when you can hold out, hold out. Do you think they would transform it? That the quarterbacks are too in the owner's, GM's pocket?
They're in the pocket. Of course they're not. Look, you know, I think you have to do it as a team. You know, it's all about the team because, you know, they did, I think it was 80-70 to the Scrubs. As the Scrubs came in and played. I think that, you know, they have the strike and the Scrubs came in and played. You know, you have to have the teams hold out as a football. The whole team's got to hold out. The quarterbacks, everyone, until this changes. And it's got to be a change come about because the money's going to only get bigger. I mean, it really is. And people always grab, oh, I can't believe the guy's making that kind of money, my God. Well, first of all, it's only one Peyton Manning. It's only one Tom Brady. You know, it's only one guy that can do that kind of job. And that career is short. So you have to get as much as you can while you can. You're not going to play football till you're 50 years old. If that's the case, can I sign up somewhere? I mean.
You know, maybe it's a cultural thing, too. Eric Dickerson joining us, that football, like in baseball, there's so many games, Eric, that if let's say you tore a sheath in your hand, it would be understood. Dude, take the day off. There's another day. In football, if you don't play hurt, you're weak. The culture of football demands, Eric, you take what you can get money-wise, be happy with it, and play, period.
And that's exactly how it was, especially when I in my era.
Did you play hurt a lot?
Oh, my gosh, are you kidding me? I played with turf toe. I played with broke my hand on a Monday night. We were playing against the Seahawks and finished the game and then played the next week. I mean, you know, you don't complain, you don't cry. And that leads me to another subject, just like concussions. I'll talk a little bit about that. When guys get hurt on the football field, you don't cry. You don't complain. You don't say you can't hurt. The first thing is say, hey, you know, how you feel? I'm kind of dizzy. Can you go back in? You know, what's your name? Eric Dickerson. What are you playing? What are we playing? Yeah, he's okay. He just got it in. He can go back in. That's how it was in those days. I mean, they didn't really do any kind of protocol. So when I think about, you know, a guy playing football and playing hurt, football is a sport that you don't complain, you don't talk about.
That's the culture.
That's the culture of that sport. And it's almost the same thing with a contract. You know, you take what we give you, and if not, you know, you just don't play. That's pretty much it. It's gotten better. Don't get me wrong, it's gotten better. But when you look at the drop off from the quarterback, maybe an offensive lineman, if you have a great offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, a cornerback, and then all of a sudden the salaries go. They drop way off. I mean, I'm talking about, well, you might have 5 guys making the big money, but after that, it's very minimal.
And I was talking about this earlier, if you were 15 today, and, you know, back when you played, you could play high school football, baseball, basketball, and now everybody specializes. But if you were 15 and you had all your knowledge today, what sport would you choose? Because I always argue this about baseball. You can get stuck in a minor league system. First of all, a third of the roster is pitchers, and Eric, your career's over with the wrong pitch.
Right.
But the second thing is you end up in the minors, and you get some, lack of a better term, red-ass manager that doesn't like your stuff. He can bury you in a system. At least in college football, if you're good, we all watch college football, get that running back from SMU. If you could choose any sport today, and were gifted in all of them, what would you choose?
Baseball. I'd take baseball. I was a good baseball player, too. My mother pushed me to play baseball.
Why? Why did Mom push you?
Because she said, I hate football. She said, yeah, she said, I hate that sport, Eric. She hated it till the day she died. She said, I hate it. It's going to cause you problems later. She said that, you know, baseball, you can play forever. She said, look, you can play baseball forever. And I was a good baseball. I hit left-handed, threw right. I was fast, could throw, catch, you know, do all the things you're supposed to do in baseball. My only problem, I had a problem hitting a left-handed curve pitcher. Other than that, I could hit the ball. But baseball for sure, because you have a long career. I mean, I have a son, my son, and people ask me, well, I let my son play football. He's only 5, you know. People ask him, why the old man got a son? But I got a son, and he's 5. And I said, if he doesn't want to play, no, I would not let him play football, for sure not. And I wouldn't let him play pop like 6 and 7 years old. That's crazy to me. The kids haven't developed. I don't understand that. But would I let him play? If he wants to play, yes. And I would tell him the dangers of playing football. But do I want him to play? No, I do not want him to play football.
Yeah, I always thought football was one of those sports. There really is no reason outside of maybe quarterback, the least hit position, to play before like 12 to 13.
Exactly.
If you're in we have so many examples of guys who are good basketball players. You know, football, there is some technique, but like if you don't play baseball, you can't pick up hitting a baseball at 21.
No.
It's just same with golf. Tennis, skiing. If you didn't do it at 18, you're not going to be great at 24 years old in your athletic prime. Eric Dickerson, single-season NFL rushing record, Hall of Famers, multiple Pro Bowls. Finally, you have a new Facebook show, straight to the point. So fans can essentially ask you anything they want. They dictate the show?
They pretty much dictate the show. You know, we'll have fans call in. I think we're going to do where we'll have topics. We'll have the hot topics for sure. Yeah. But what fans really want to know about, a subject they want to talk about is going on in the National Football League, and maybe even outside the National Football League. It may happen, may be baseball, maybe basketball, mostly football, but for sure, you know, we want to have what the fans want to talk about, what, you know, give their opinions, what they think that's good, you know, just like with the Rams, you know, what's going on with the Rams, what's going on with the Raiders, you know, what's going on with the Super Bowl, how they lost the Super Bowl.
Let's segue back last year. You know, Jeff Fisher and you, little dust up. I like Jeff, but I thought offensively it was a Jurassic coaching staff. They were way behind the ball. Football's changed offensively, and I don't think Jeff segued very well on the offensive side of the ball. So they bring in Sean McVay. They get a new left tackle, which was a weak spot. They've added a couple of nice wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, the rookie, you watch. He's going to be a 60-catch guy, Robert Woods. Their offensive personnel has evolved. I think they have an offensive-minded staff, not a defensive-minded staff. The question becomes, Eric, Jared Goff, when will you know, when you watch the Rams play, 6 games, 8 games preseason, when will you say, will you bail on him if by Thanksgiving you don't see growth? How do you fall on that?
Well, you know, Jared Goff is the first pick in the draft, so he's going to get all the looks. You can't bail on the first season. You can't. If he's healthy and he's playing, you have to give him that season. This will be a full season for him possibly if he plays. He's got to go into center, but is he the guy? You know, I think only time will tell. You know, I think Sean McVay will be able to know if he's the guy to lead this football team. And this team has some weapons, not a lot. I just got to say it. We are not a talented football team. We don't have a true number one receiver.
Absolutely.
We do not have that. I mean, you say, okay, we've got to double team this guy. We don't have that. Our best player on that football team is Aaron Donald, a guy who I hope the Rams do it right with him by signing him to a long-term deal, wrapping him up. And I wish I could say they would guarantee all of it. But he's the best player in the National Football League on defense for sure. No doubt, hands down. So, you know, this football team, it has a long way to go. I mean, it really does. I don't think you'll see 90,000 people at a preseason game this year, for sure, as they did last year, the season opener. But I think it'll be a lot of Ram fans. I'm hoping to have a lot of Ram fans in the preseason starts.
You know, my thing is, if they show growth, it's a win. Like they won 4 last year. Let's say they went 7-9. But if you felt after 7-9, Eric, Goff's the guy. You can win with Goff. I think Ram fans would sign up for that today.
I agree.
Because the key in this league is you just can't be a disaster at quarterback.
No, you can't. If you're a disaster at quarterback,
it doesn't matter what your personnel is.
Your team's not going to. This is a quarterback's league. It's like 7-on-7, really. It is. And if he doesn't do what they think he can do or lead this football team,
you got to start over.
You got to start over. I mean, and it's going to be some finger pointing going on. How did you? What happened here? And Jeff Fisher's gone, so who are they going to point the finger at?
That's right.
Yep.
The key in this league is if you can be at least viable at quarterback, then you can build everything else. Eric Dickerson, good seeing you, bud.
Good seeing you.
In LA, it's the Herd.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
DiGiorno?
Do your thing.
Rise to the occasion. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Arby's has an announcement. Triple six, triple six, triple six, triple six, triple six, triple six. Brown sugar bacon. Sprinkle, smells, taste. Arby's, we have the meats.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
Start your career as a walk-on.
Go 3-13 your rookie season.
Lead the league in interceptions.
Take a perfect team and blow a perfect season.
Spend 108 years as a lovable loser.
Serena denied a shot at history by an unseated opponent.
Be on the wrong side of the biggest upset in your sport.
You really want to know the secret to victory.
And heartbreak for Matt Ryan, who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat. Come on, one more. Yeah! Make defeat your fuel.
In preparation for man's journey to Mars, NASA requested applications for space travel candidates. It takes ambition, a can-do attitude, and a lot of moxie to be chosen for one of the most coveted positions in the universe. Runners-up, we invite you to apply to our management trainee program at 84 Lumber.
Okay, so with the Fuel Rewards program, you'll receive instant gold status and get the rewards you deserve.
Awesome.
Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
Wow! Wow, I bet I'm like super fast!
Get rewarded at Shell with instant gold status and save at least 5 cents a gallon every fill, every day. Join now at fuelrewards.com/gold or download the app.
I thought it was going to give me super speed.
Just average speed.
Felt great.
Hey, looked great.
Thank you.
If you're going to chase your dreams, remember, they're faster than you think.
This summer, we're changing the game. I'm talking about white chocolate, Kmart, Dr. J, and the answer, Allen Iverson. Half court, 3-on-3. And introducing the 4-point shot. Game changer. This is where the best to ever do it keep doing it. Y'all ain't ready for this. Yeah.
Baseball Buzz, Wednesday, July 5th. Meet the Marlins.
My favorite food is Mexican. Tacos, man. I'll eat those little street tacos. I'm all about it.
I like going to the beach. I'm from Southern California. You know, I've tried surfing a couple times. I'm not great at it. It's tough.
Yeah, I got a pretty good shoe collection. I try to just kind of stay under the radar with it, though. If I'm not in Under Armour, I'm definitely in Jordan. I don't wear anything other than that.
Remember when every new fork on the trail led to a new adventure? Then keep the tradition going at Bass Pro Shops with great deals, like the Eclipse 2-person dome tent for under $30, plus free workshops, activities, and crafts.
Mike's, drink on the bright side.
In any light, Transitions lenses help protect from UV rays and harmful blue light, both indoors and out. They seamlessly adapt, so you can live the good light. Visit transitions.com.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
This is happening live on the Masai Mara in Kenya.
This is amazing. I can't believe it. One of the most spectacular sightings.
Join the unprecedented live 7-week event, Safari Live Migration, Friday nights beginning July 14th at 11, only on Nat Geo Wild.
NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights at 6 Eastern on FS1.
Travis Brown looks to wield his striking power against the boa constrictor Alexei Oleinik. It's UFC 213 prelims, Saturday at 7 Eastern, only on FS1.
Talked some football today. Charlie Weiss joined us. I really enjoyed Charlie's stories. It was funny. He gave me a great answer when one of the things I said when Charlie came on, I said, when you were at Notre Dame, I've always said that every college football team has a certain number of wins. Now, if you have a better coach, you'll get more than that if you have a worse coach. But if you look at your money, your history, your geography, your recruiting area, it'll tell you what you are. Notre Dame used to be, and let's use a 12-game format. USC would be 11, Alabama, Ohio State. They got the money, they have the commitment, they have the facilities, and they have, within 100 miles, the players. There's not many of those. There's probably 7 or 8 of those. Very rarely in the history of college football has a program broken out of that where they consistently produced 11, 12 wins in an isolated area. Oregon with Chip Kelly did, but he also revolutionized college football in the no-snap offense. Once he left, they went down to being more close to the Mike Bellotti Oregon years, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins. Oregon's probably about an 8.5 win program. Phil Knight's money takes them to 9.5. A really good coach took them to 10.5, 11. USC's 11. The money, they don't have to, they can get in a car and within 30 minutes drive to half their recruiting class. 75% of the kids in Southern California that are good football players grew up wanting to be Trojans. They don't have to recruit, they just ask. Texas is a 10-win program, 11-win program. But I was saying about Notre Dame is, I grew up and Notre Dame was one of those, 11-win programs, but they're isolated, cold weather, academics. And I said to Charlie Weiss, what did you say about the weather and academics to kids?
One of my big things when I talk to players, when they say playing in cold weather, I said, so you don't want to play for the Patriots then? You don't want to play for the Packers? No, so I guess it doesn't snow in those places, right? So I said, I thought you said you wanted to play on Sundays. I go, I have to give you the bad news, son. Okay, but every game isn't played in Florida.
He's right. In fact, in the NFL over the last 15 years, it seems like the Baltimores, the Giants, the New England Patriots, the Packers, Seattle, the cold weather cities have actually been, more often than not, the really well-run organizations. And he also talked about academics, and his argument was, do you want to work on Wall Street or Main Street? That piece of paper at Notre Dame means a lot. And frankly, in the NFL, they're looking for smart players because it's a very sophisticated league. Chris Broussard also stopped by today talking some NBA. He agrees with me on the Gordon Hayward signing with the Boston Celtics. Here's Chris Broussard, our NBA specialist.
The thing I like about this deal is that you're very good in the present. Second best team in the East, we suppose. And you're set up to be great in the future. What I would do if I'm Danny Ainge is I let the season start as it is. And I want to see what Jason Tatum is. And I want to see what Porzingis does. And then if I really like what I see from him and Tatum isn't blowing me away like he could be another superstar, then I try to make a move for Porzingis.
I think that's what I do. That makes a lot of sense. I know you can sit. I'm not anti-draft picks. Daryl Morey, the general manager for the Houston Rockets, came on last week, and he listens to the show once in a while, and he said, I know how you think about draft picks. I'm not anti-draft picks. I think accumulating them is important. But I do think there are times you have to go for it. The New England Patriots have done this. Tom Brady's aging. The window's shrinking. Let's give away our first, second, and third round picks. I think for the San Francisco 49ers right now, accumulate draft picks. For the LA Rams, for the New York Jets, I understand certain organizations, but once you get close to a championship level, I see the world differently. Houston, Boston, San Antonio, Golden State, Cleveland. I don't see the value of 19-year-old kids. Those guys aren't taking you to the next level. And I always use Minnesota as the example. They have hit 2 absolute home runs with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, those guys are can't-miss prospects. They're terrific, multi-all-NBA guys within the next decade. You just can't, take away a LeBron. That's as good as you're going to get in the draft, and they can't get to the playoffs. So I do think Gordon Hayward, who had no chance to be a first or a second-team all-NBA player in the West, probably with Boston becomes an all-NBA player, second team, first team in the East. All-star. All-star. I think he's an all-star in the East. I mean, right now it's Kyrie at the point, LeBron at forward, Porzingis big, Greek freak somewhere. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be first or second team All-Eastern Conference. So he makes better. Now they're going to have to give up Kelly Olynyk, who only averages 9 and 10 a game, but he's a grinder, and they like him a lot in Boston. And they don't have much size, and he's 6'11". Then they'll probably have to give up eventually here pretty quick a Bradley, a Marcus Smart, a Jay Crowder, who they like defensively. So points in, points out, going to be kind of a wash. But I think what Gordon Hayward gives you, he gives you that go-to score at the end of the clock, end of possessions, end of the half, end of the game. And that's where the NBA, it's always been better to have an A guy than 2 Bs. Is that he'll give you that guy. So you have Isaiah Thomas, who can create his own shot. Gordon Hayward just needs a little screen. He's going to give you a shot. And so, you mix that in with Avery Bradley, if you can keep him, and maybe Jason Tatum and Al Horford. It's a real team. But I'd love to see them get in the phone with the New York Knicks and try to wrestle away Porzingis. Listen, I like the NBA a lot. I mean, obviously, I start talking about it in late April, and now we're in early July. So I like talking about the NBA. I think it's a league with a lot of good stories and a lot of big marketable stars. But the East is getting really, really weak, and Golden State, from their acquisitions now and re-signings, looks better. Golden State right now looks better than they were last year. And that's great news for one city. That's not great news for the other 29, 30, 31 cities. That's where we are today. Charlie Wise, Eric Dickerson, Chris Broussard, speak for yourself later today. I hope you had a great 4th. What did you guys do for the 4th? You guys go to the beach?
No, I would have avoided the beach at all costs on July 4th to do some grilling. I worked. Some of us don't get all these fun days off.
Greg, did you work?
No, I was off. Just pool, kids, parade, fireworks.
Who doesn't love a parade? Love a parade. Good for you. Well, I'm going to do Speak for Yourself, then go hang out in the bomb shelter, and I'll be back tomorrow. It's the Herd.
I still can't believe we lost.
The world is dying. You were his last hope.
It ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
5 calories, no artificial sweeteners, and taste amazing. Bye.
Discover the power of new Dove Men Plus Care Elements with minerals and sage. Get a boost of freshness with new Dove Men Plus Care Elements Body Wash. K&N high-flow air filters, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow.
Remember when taking a bath and going for a swim became the same thing for a few days? Then keep the tradition going at Bass Pro Shops with great deals, like savings of 25% on all in-stock towables, boards, and skis. And check out our family summer camp.
Okay, so with the Fuel Rewards program, you'll receive instant gold status and get the rewards you deserve.
Awesome.
Oh, wait.
Get rewarded at Shell with instant gold status. Join now at fuelrewards.com/gold or download the app.
Wow.
Continental tires are built for the road that connects you to all of life's journeys. And for nearly 150 years, we've been developing tires to fit your needs. Each Continental tire is designed to give you precise handling and traction in all seasons, and a quiet, comfortable ride wherever the road takes you. You're at your best when you're doing what you really love. We're at ours when we're helping you get there. Continental Tire, for what you do.
It's Domino's. I have to go.
Looking for this?
Yeah. Order and track your pizza with Domino's Tracker.
The only thing that stands between you and great sleep is a simple box. The revolutionary Casper mattress perfectly balances soft and firm for outrageous comfort. It's the internet's favorite mattress. Order online. You can try it for 100 nights in your own home. And if you don't like it, we'll pick it up and refund you everything. Visit Casper.com for special offers.
My name is Scott Jordan. You might remember me from Shark Tank. My problem? I had tons of stuff to carry, but no easy way to do it. So I started Scotty Vest. At Scotty Vest, we make great-looking clothing with tons of hidden pockets and unique features. Now you can carry all your stuff hands-free while looking great. Gadget lovers? Use our pockets for your cell phone, charging cables, and even a full-size laptop or tablet. Travelers? Breeze through airport security, leave that extra bag at home, and know that your wallet and passport are safe. Love the outdoors? Have immediate access to your headphones, sunglasses, even a drink on the go.
Victory is measured in a heartbeat.
Quickest run in history!
NHRA, Route 66 National, Sunday at 3 Eastern on FS1.
Your life is in a state of constant motion, and only Spectrum can help you make the most of every moment. And now you can experience the full power of Spectrum in your home by adding internet and voice to your current TV service. With Spectrum Internet, enjoy smoother surfing, streaming, and gaming with the fastest internet starting speeds, 60 megabits per second, with no data caps and a free modem. Just $29.99 a month. Call 844-559-1999. And when a picture or post can't say it all, Spectrum Voice gives you unlimited nationwide calling, plus unlimited